and welcome to another edition of Tinfoil Tuesday. How's everyone's day going? Hopefully well. I hope you're ready, because you are in store for even more craziness. You all know how it goes. We're here to look at more conspiracy theories and the people who believe them, and talk about why. So welcome, we have all sorts of weird stuff. Oh look, it's John F. Kennedy Jr., except it's not. It's just a guy who thinks he is. Fun stuff. So, how's everyone doing? What else is going on? Hey, Nemesaur. Hey, Mr. Blast. Hello, Dr. Baja. How you doing? Ferris Hex, Feiciest Bard, Phoenix Leftist, and 2250. Carpcosian, DJ Reaper 274, and Karina the Engineer. How do? If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. I'd really appreciate it. It helps new people find the community, and it's always nice to have new people join. How's it going, Just a Peach? Travis Veltwind, H. Gilbert over on YouTube. How's everyone doing? Did you have Happy Barbecue Meats Day? Yes, it was fun. Mr. Blast and the rest of that, the family came over and, had hot dogs and other things. Corn, you know. Hey Trey, how's it going? Let's see. Do I have any housekeeping? If you want to support the stream, you can always do so using gift subs, tips, or bits. We are working towards our tip goal for edited content. We're over halfway to that goal. We're $600 in, so $400 till we hit that goal. Also, we are getting to the end of the month, so gift subs and subscriptions help because we are behind on the sub goal. I know we're not going to make it this month. We would have to have an average of 30 subs a day for the next 5 days to get it. And that's not reasonable. But if you want to help support the show, nonetheless, if we can get as close to that as possible, it would be cool. Other than that, I think we can just jump into it. Oh, I do need to apologize. Last Sunday, I completely blanked. I was supposed to do the last Patron live show Sunday, and I just totally forgot because of the long weekend. So I apologize for that. I'm rescheduling that to Saturday in the evening. I do have something earlier in the day on Saturday to do, but in the evening on Saturday, I will do the next Patron live show. I apologize sincerely for that. It got away from me, you know? I apologize to all the patrons and YouTube members. Did I see that in 2027 we're getting Master of Disguise? I don't know what you mean. 2? The first one wasn't good! So anyway, yeah, we can jump into it. Were I what? Was I what? Anyway, let's get into it. Turn the music off. Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? You know, the turtle thing? He doesn't even do that in the movie. Not multiple times like he does in the trailer. Harold Ebleman with 20 stream streaks says, today's my wife's 40th. We're relaxing with stream now after a homemade midnight breakfast and some takeout lunch with her in-laws. May fall asleep due to cuddleage. I apologize for nothing. That sounds like a wonderful birthday. Happy birthday to your wife. All right, let's get into it, shall we?
There was a...
Oop, need to turn his volume up.
I am the real John Kennedy Jr.
I don't know about that, but all right then. Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, Green Guy and I just got back from getting vaccines, including rabies. I also got yellow fever and typhoid. Nice. I need to get vaccinated before they all become illegal. We're a functional country.
And I got a little story to tell you. It's one of the better stories, but it's not that.
Ultimate Undying says, Hannah, my basic version of Nightbreed's basically done. Nice. Did I tell you that Arrow, I think, is putting out a version in the next year? Pretty cool.
That good of a story, because it's a sad story. But when you're in the military, you do what you're told.
Has Dr. Wife been offered a European job? No.
And the thing is, I was never in.
You think people just offer people jobs randomly? They just call you up on their phone and they go, hey, person, you looking for a job? I guess that might be true. I know recruiters are a thing, but no, that's not a thing that's happening.
Military. I was, but there's no records of it. I can't go to the VA hospital. I never got paid. But we got dropped off by helicopter, and we packed in all day. The next day, we showed up on the top of a hill, and down at the bottom of that hill.
Does charisma skip a generation? Because this guy is not a Kennedy. Although, go look at RFK. No, that would also be skip a generation. That's the same generation. No, I'll stay with this with the skips a generation theory.
There was a river, a little village, and I was ordered to go do some reconnaissance on that little village. I was told where to go get in the river, and I just did what I was told.
Very thrilling. Dr. Worm, thanks for a 12-month streak. Appreciate it. Ooh, 46 months. He still does this, by the way. I don't know if this is like his job, but he does have an audience that believes he is actually JFK Jr. He literally does this all the time. He does live streams constantly.
He tried to help his stepbrother. Here they would
I'm not going to play this, but he also, I think, made like an AI video trying to explain his situation because he thinks, I guess I don't know if he really thinks he's JFK Jr., but quite possibly. Oh, you can tell it's cool because it's a lion or something.
In a world that has been tainted by groups of dark beings, corruption, secrecy, and depravity have altered and damaged the lives of many children and adults who have fallen victim to stolen identities.
Oh boy, uses AI on the bingo card.
For many years, children have been abducted and sometimes swapped out at a young age.
Oh, swapped out? Like for clones or something? Or like with some sort of like, is this a vivarium situation?
In different instances, they are placed into foster care, witness protection programs, sold to dark handlers, sex trafficked, or sacrificed. Sadly, this is far more common than we have been led to believe. People of influence and children with parents who are prominent public figures have been especially targeted because of their wealth and power to influence others. Many are taken, then given new identities. Identity theft is frequently used by the cabal, replacing...
Is Bubba Hotep canon to this conspiracy theory? Has anyone else seen Bubba Hotep? I don't know if that joke lands. No one's seen Bubba Hotep.
Important or wealthy people with clones or fake body doubles. They do this for
clones on the bingo card. I love the Joe Biden clone theories because they're entirely dependent on you not understanding how human beings age. Like, have you never seen someone in, like, their 60s grow into their 80s? This is what happens. They age. On the left, they look pretty old, and then on the right, they look like the fucking Crypt Keeper. Because that's what happens when you live above, like upper 80s, upper 70s, 80 years old. You're like mocking nature by continuing to live, basically.
Any reason.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just funny when I see this with Biden where they're like, look, he looks different. Yeah, there's like 15 years between these two pictures.
The first being that the body doubles are easy to control, like puppets on a string. The second is to steal the original individual's wealth and fortune, rendering them impoverished and helpless. The cabal also enjoy messing with and traumatizing their victims, leaving them nameless, poor.
Yes, he also did have plastic surgery. That's not uncommon for celebrities or politicians, because politicians is a very, like, constituent-facing job, especially at a high level. So how you look is very important. Ask Nixon about that in his debate with Kennedy and the Radio v-TV results.
Completely alone.
Yeah, wealthy people in general is fair, but especially, like, people who are in front of cameras often, politicians and celebrities. Altered Undying says, I've not only seen Bubba Hotep, I saw it when it came out at a small theater and was let in for free and wished a happy birthday by the owner. Oh, that's nice.
And on the verge of insanity. These dark ones feed off the pain and suffering of others. So many children of stolen identities do not get to grow up. However, some of the lucky ones who survived are now adults and are bravely stepping forward and speaking their truths for the world to hear. And it is...
Oh, so is this guy gonna claim that the JFK Jr. that died was his replacement, but secretly he's the real JFK Jr. that was replaced, like, as a child or something? Which is a little bit like the Paul McCartney conspiracies, where they're like, oh, Paul died in, like, the 60s, which would just make his replacement the more prolific musician. But whatever. Apparently they're not Wings fans. Polysaturated lipids, thanks for 41 months.
Is our job to listen. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. is one of these extraordinary brave individuals with an extreme case of stolen identity. This is his story. The story of John is a difficult one to tell. It is filled with loss, pain, and immense suffering. Furthermore, because John was subjected to MK Ultra, drugs,
MK Ultra on the bingo card,
torture, and copious other traumatic experiences, some timelines are approximate.
For those that don't know, MK Ultra was a failed government program to try and test, basically mind, like, control techniques and stuff like that. Did that also include the belief that they were trying to test psychic abilities? Trey would know. Trey, is that the thing where they also tested psychic abilities, or was that specifically the one that was only about brainwashing? Either way, we know about it because it was a failure. I don't know if you know this. If the government secretly invented mind control, they wouldn't just tell everyone about it in documents that they released for everyone. The Men Who Stare at Goats, yes, is based off of that.
Approximations. John Jr. was born in 1960 to one of the most powerful and well-known families in the world, the Kennedys. He was born shortly after his father became the President of the United States of America. John has only a few short memories of his father, which he holds close to his heart to this day. Initially, he lived a good life, supported and safe in the sanctuary of the White House, surrounded by family who loved, cherished, and cared for him dearly. Although he was often under the care and supervision of nannies, Secret Service agents, and White House staff.
I know they drugged people, but I thought that the drugging was trying to see if they could make people pliable under the effect of the drugs.
1963, at the tender age of 3, John Jr.'s world came crashing down and was forever changed when his father was assassinated. It was a headline that both shocked and broke the hearts of many people around the world. But
Mind
most
control, truth serum only. Thank you.
of all, John and his family.
You're very pliable. The CIA isn't interested in subs.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You'll excuse the fact that I'm out of breath, but about 10 or 15 minutes ago, a tragic thing, from all indications at this point, has happened in the city of Dallas. Let me quote to you this. And you'll excuse me if I am out of breath. A bulletin. This is from the United Press from Dallas. President Kennedy and Governor John Connally have been cut down by assassins' bullets in downtown Dallas. They were riding in an open automobile when the shots were fired. The president, his limp body carried in the arms of his wife, Jacqueline, has rushed to Parkland Hospital.
Between the ages of 3 and approximately 8 to 10, John had an exceptionally convoluted life. He spent time flying around the world with his mother, Jacqueline Kennedy, attending opulent events with important people, including celebrities, politicians, royalty, and other influential people. He would take classes with famous actors and various renowned artists, as well as perform acting roles in Hollywood on the big screen.
2 candidates for governorship will step forward.
Did he really? That's kind of funny. Did he just want to do that? Was he just like, I want to be an actor?
Candidate Tracy, are you ready to take the chicken test? What's chicken test?
They'll probably mention his magazine. I forget the name of it, but it was a thing in the 90s. I know I've seen conspiracy theorists look at some issues of JFK Jr.'s magazine and claim there's hidden codes in it.
Boy,
George, thank you. That's the name of it.
are you a dum-dum? It's a test to see if you're chicken. Grab my arms, reach forward the basket of snakes.
At times, this meant that John had to go and live with his movie or TV family for weeks at a time to get him into the role.
What? That's not generally how acting works. What are you talking about? You method acting children? Well, that's not... What? You gotta go live with them? That's not how acting works. Like, do you think all the people in the show Friends lived in the same apartment together to learn their role? Like, how does that make any goddamn sense?
It was not all fun and games for John.
Sorry, JFK Jr., an actor, a politician and an actor. What's next? Jane Wyman as defense secretary?
He was also put in extremely traumatic situations, even when in the presence of his mother. When John was 5 or 6, he remembers one of these traumatic times. He was traveling on a plane to New York with Jackie's double security and Secret Service agents. During the flight, John witnessed his mother being brutally violated by one of the men, while the others stood by and watched. John was screaming and crying hysterically. The men told John that if he would not shut up, they would...
At least he wasn't a reality show star. They can't ever remake Back to the Future because you already know the lazy joke they're going to use to replace that, and I'm already rolling my eyes at it. I can't. Don't remake Back to the Future specifically because you know how they're going to replace that joke, and it would be such a hack replacement. And it's not their fault. Obviously, that's the joke you go with, is who's the president in 2025? I know that that's the joke you go with, but it's so on the nose, you can't do that joke.
Kill his mother. John was later beaten for getting upset. When John was 5 years old, he recalls being dropped off at an old 2-storied home that had been converted into a small school. He was instructed to sleep the night in the bedroom upstairs. That evening, a man visited him during the night and sexually violated him. When John was picked up the following day, he explained how his backside hurt to the couple who were commissioned to escort him to his next location. The man appeared completely unfazed, as he casually stated, "Forget it, kid. That's the way it goes."
He's claiming to vividly remember conversations he had at 5 years old. Now, I'm a weird example. I don't remember most of my childhood. So I am the opposite of most. I know people have a better remembrance of childhood than I generally do. But you remember verbatim conversations you had at 5 years old? I don't know about that one.
John had an unstable upbringing in every way possible. He was continuously instructed with no notice to pack his bag and travel to a destination unknown. This continued well into his teens and young adult life. John never knew a normal or consistent home environment, and he was often left feeling confused and afraid, not knowing where he was or what was going on. When John was young, he recalled overhearing a conversation between adults who were discussing their ownership over him.
Hey, fellas, should we have this weird boardroom meeting about our ownership of this child somewhere else other than his family living room? No, it's fine. It's fine.
He was shocked. During this meeting, John was sold to a man named Wayne. Wayne was to be his handler and, in some respects, his teacher. Later on, Wayne paid for John to enter into the care of a new family called the Quigleys. From age 5, John was introduced to the Hells Angels by Wayne. John had a huge love and interest in motorbikes since he was a little boy and still does to this day, being a skilled rider and mechanic among many other things. Throughout John's life, he spent time at the Hells Angels clubhouses and later became a patched member himself.
What?
John refers to the Hells Angels as his family.
I feel like we've jumped tracks a little bit here.
And the members as his brothers. They were the family that he never really had, offering him a safe haven, comradeship, and a sense of belonging. The Hells Angels have played a big part in John's adult life too. He recalls many moments where members stuck up for him, and
Just a Peach says, JFK Jr. went to private boarding school. This is wild. Well, he's saying that JFK Jr., the public JFK Jr., was a fake.
even saved his life.
He's Bubba Ho-tapping it, and if you don't know what I mean, Google Bubba Ho-tap and read the plot summary. You want to understand my stream, you need to know every cult movie that's ever existed. I'm gonna reference them a lot.
From assassination attempts on more than one occasion. From age 6, John attended St. David's private school in New York, attending on and off. This continued for his entire childhood, only being consciously present for no more than a few weeks out of a year. Of course, being under the influence of MK Ultra from a young age means that he may have been there more often than he can recall.
I know this is a bingo space, but I can't not say this. It's like Roger Rabbit and the da-da-da-da-da. Phoenix says, okay, but we need to borrow your DVDs. I actually own Bubba Hotep on 4K, because of course I do.
When John turned 8 years
Da-da-da-da-da.
old, his mother, Jacqueline,
MH Darkbeast says, did you see they were going to have a viewing of the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever because they didn't have the rights? Warner Brothers filed a cease and desist. I did see that. They should have shut the fuck up about it. That needed to be a very private event. They should not have publicized that until it was over.
married Aristotle Socrates Onassis on the Greek island of Scorpios. Aristotle was a Greek-Argentinian shipping typhoon. Onassis
I assume that was supposed to be tycoon and not typhoon.
was one of the world's wealthiest and well-known public figures at the time, building the world's largest privately owned shipping fleet amidst his strong association with organized crime. One of John's fond memories of that time was going on archaeological digging expeditions. One instance was when John, Onassis, Wayne, Jackie, and a team visited the tomb of Alexander the Great's father, Philip II of Macedon. After the initial excitement, John recalls feeling very disappointed as he watched the digging team loot the site, taking ancient artifacts including precious metals, gemstones, and superior ancient technology devices.
Cosmic Cat says, MK Ultra started in the 50s, but JFK was born in 1917, so how can be under MK Ultra as a child? JFK Jr. JFK Jr.
These ancient technologies could do incredible futuristic things, including seeing future events and outcomes within the current timeline. Of course, these items were kept secret within the Mafia cabal, with only the scraps being made public.
Did they say Tartaria? I missed that. Sorry.
These ancient technologies could do incredible futuristic things, including seeing future events and
I would say that's believe sci-fi technology exists, but they didn't specifically say Tartaria, so I'm gonna say no.
As he watched the digging
But that would be believe sci-fi technology
team loot the ancient things. Items were kept secret within the Mafia cabal, with only the scraps being made public. Between the ages of 8 and 10 was an extremely dark and unsettling time.
Sorry, AI apparently just can't... I mean, it can't do a lot of things. There's a lot of things that it does poorly, but apparently hourglasses are on that list. AI not good at hourglasses. Noted.
Between the ages of 8 and 10...
I guess I can understand that. It's a lot of dynamic... Like, yeah, I see why it would not be able to do that very well.
Extremely dark and unsettling time for John.
You know how even when it's standing still in hourglasses, sand just sways back and forth like a pendulum. That's real.
Theme that continued.
Yeah, the AI guy is also very vascular in an uncomfortable way.
For many more years to come. At this time, John was introduced to the Quigley family as a part of the Witness Protection Program.
He's not a witness, what? In order to be in the Witness Protection Program, you need to witness a crime that you're gonna testify to.
Given a new name and birth date. He was now to answer to David Keith Quigley, and his birth year was
John Kennedy the one that went into the Amazon and was probably killed by some tribe or something like that? JFK Jr. died in a plane crash. I don't know what the thing you're talking about is.
1966 instead of 1960. During this time, John was unable to celebrate his birthday. He was also given a cocktail of puberty blocker hormones to keep him looking young and to marry up with his new birth date and identity. The Quigleys even bleached
I wish I was a Kennedy that got put on puberty blockers.
John's hair and made him write using his right hand, as he was naturally left-handed. During his time with the Quigleys, John experienced and witnessed terrible horrors and abuse. The Quigleys were a cabal-organized crime family. They lived in a closed community in Yosemite Lakes in California.
Okay, this goes on for literally 20 more minutes, but I'm not gonna sit through the rest of the AI slop. We get it. He thinks he's JFK Jr. He's not. We can move on. Let's see what we're gonna do next. Ooh! This guy thinks that the Bible happened in North America, so he thinks Egypt and, like, Jerusalem and, like, stuff is all secretly in North America. He is not Mormon. He is not Mormon. He is, I think, a black nationalist, sort of along the lines of, like, he's like a black Israelite, I think. I think that's what he believes. But with some extra stuff on top. Green guy with a $3 tip says, reminder to all furries to take your human in for their vaccines. You can help prevent a death, and while you're at it, get them fixed because kids are scary. They are indeed. Hopefully I'll be getting fixed soon. If you don't get why that's funny, say it out loud. Rise of the Amaru Khans. Alright, if you're writing a lazy D&D homebrew that takes place in a post-apocalyptic America, there's your bastardized name for Americans that sounds funny. We did it. We got there. Amaru Khans. Is he Moorish? No. I believe he is a black Israelite, which is a separate black nationalist woo-woo movement. They have some similar beliefs, but they are separate, distinct groups with different beliefs, even if they are somewhat similar. So his logic here is quite funny. Yeah, just hold on that for a while.
When we think of ancient Egypt.
Oh, this opening line, you're gonna immediately get the problem.
When we think of ancient Egypt, we think of desert, right? Camels, pyramids, right?
Do you immediately see where he's going with this and the weird mistake he's making? Vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card. Avila says, yes, early camels existed in the Americas. Indeed, and he will go over that. So, camels, as, again, it'll come up in the video, camels, the progenitor of modern camels, began to evolve in the Americas. So they did exist in North America, and then they, you know, spread over to other parts of the world, and then over time, the North American camel went extinct. So the only kinds of, like, contemporary camels that exist are, like, the ones you have in your head with the humps that, you know, tend to live in, like, desert areas. Or as he puts it, you know, like in Egypt with the desert and stuff. Basically, in his head, when he thinks of ancient Egypt, he thinks of, like, pop culture Egyptology, right? Desert, pyramid, a fucking camel. So when he hears camels originated in North America, his brain goes, so that must be where Egypt is from. Even though that doesn't make any sense. The camels, just because they came from the Americas at some point, doesn't mean that the place you most associate with camels in the modern day is that place where they came from. Like, I don't even know what to call this fallacy. It's just, like, so out there, I don't even know how to define it. Vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card.
Now, what have we learned recently? We know ancient Egypt, right? That's a Greek word. We know it was really called Tameri.
Oh boy, wait until he finds out that most countries have a different name that they call themselves compared to what people from different countries call themselves. Does he think people from China called China? China? Does he think people from Germany called Germany? Germany? You know what I mean?
Beloved
I've
land.
noticed this with some conspiracy people. They don't understand relativity of social concepts. So, like, they don't understand that just because your language or culture or a different language or culture calls a thing by a specific name, that doesn't mean everyone does or that it's universally that thing.
We know that was over here in America.
But we Americans call America America? We do, but fun fact, people outside of America don't all call America America, especially if English is not their primary language.
Right? Ancient Egypt.
They certainly, even if they do say it as America, they don't say America. It would be in a different accent and changed, but yeah.
Was here in America. So,
Greece is Hellas, Japan is Nihon. Yeah.
do we have pyramids over here? Yes.
There are pyramids all over the goddamn world. I've talked about this before. If you want to build something that lasts a while, wide base. It's the same rules for dildos as it is for structures you want to stand the test of time. Wide bases. That's why when I become the queen of the world, my main idol that people are going to worship will be a large dildo.
Do we have deserts over here? Yes.
There are deserts many places in the world. Not like Star Wars. Planets don't have one biome.
And did we have camels over here? That's a big yes. In fact, I will show you camels originated here in America.
With their wide feet to help them walk on shifting sand,
I like that he's like, I'll show you, but then he cuts to another guy who actually is a real YouTuber who put time into a thing and just lets him do it.
and their fatty
I'm gonna skip this part just because it's not conspiracy related. It's an actual video about how camels evolved and came out of the Americas. So that's all you need to know. I'll skip that part so we're not plagiarizing this guy's fucking camel video.
Zoology, Regent Parks, London. A study by Helen F. Solution of the family Camelidae, a mitochondrial DNA study by Helen F. Stanley, Miranda Cadwell, and Jane C. Wheeler. Conservation Genetics Group,
Sounds
Institute
like
of Zoology.
Beach Towel Guy. Yeah, Beach Towel Guy hasn't really been around. What happened to Beach Towel Guy? I know he stopped posting to YouTube for a while. Maybe I just stopped following him.
Regent Parks, London.
Isn't Antarctica a desert? Yes, Antarctica is a desert.
And Facultad de
Being a desert is defined by how much precipitation it receives per year, not the temperature.
Medicina Veterinaria, Universidad de San Marcos, Lima, Peru. All right. So, says here, introduction. The family Camelidae, which originated in North America. Again, what? Originated where? In North America. So wait a minute.
I don't understand why he thinks that originating there has anything to do with the location of biblical narratives.
I thought the Garden of Eden was over there in Iraq, Mesopotamia.
Oh, sir, no. Science does not stand... Jesus. Science does not start from a framework that believes that the Garden of Eden is real. If they did, they wouldn't need to say the origin of any animal. They would just say everything's from the Garden of Eden, because that's a simple answer. It's a wrong answer, but it's a simple answer. But that's not how it works. You can't say, well, camels originated in North America, therefore that's where the Garden of Eden was. Animals are from all sorts of places in the earth. What are you talking about? Like, different species speciated all over the fucking planet, not one place. You're mixing narratives.
Over there, you know, what's going on here? During the Eocene, 40 to 45 million years ago, now comprises 2 Old World tribe Camelini and 4 New World tribe Lamini, species with the division between the Lamini and the Camelini dating to approximately 11 millennia ago. Migrations to South America and Asia occurred approximately 3 million years ago. So they just got them 3 million years ago. We've been had camels here. Way long.
Just 3 million years ago. I don't know if you know this. Ancient Egyptian history was not 3 million years ago. No history of the human variety existed 3 million years ago, because there were no people. Bittergrin says, fun fact, there were briefly wild camels in the Southwest after a failed military experiment in the 1800s. They bred and lasted to the early 1900s. So, like an invasive species. Fun. Glad they're dead, because invasive species are not good for local wildlife. Ask Australia.
Longer. Wait.
Or even people in the Americas. House cats are an invasive species in North America. It's been pretty bad for bird populations.
Way longer than they had them over there. All right. And who's
Gentle reminder to keep your cats indoors.
to say they weren't
I'm
here
not starting this discourse. I shouldn't have said that. Never mind.
still? All right. When they came back. All right. So again, they originated in North America and they migrated to South America and Asia. So what is this telling us?
That history is long and that species spread out across the globe sometimes over a very long period of times. I don't know what else to tell you, man. The whole ass fucking group of animals.
And both the Camelini and Lamini subsequently became extinct in North America. All right. So again, you can, I'm gonna put all these links up for you and in the video description, so you can go ahead and read the whole thing.
Possible member of the camel family is Protylopus, which appears in the fossil record about 45 million years ago. In what were
Skipping ahead again because he's just playing this guy's video and incorrectly understanding it.
shortgrass prairies.
All right, so now we're here in this website, part of the PBS channel. It says Wildlife Journal Junior. It says Camelidae, Camels, Llamas.
Is he on the kids version of the PBS nature website? Is that why it says Wildlife Journal Junior?
Alpacas and vicuñas. Although there are no living species of Camelidae family in North America today.
Green guy with a tip says, we had to get an appointment with travel medicine to get the rabies vaccine, and I was worried we wouldn't get it. We lied saying we're going to South America. Good news, this lady was open to giving us everything. Usually she has to convince people. Well, that's good.
The fossil records, again, the fossil records, real science, right?
The way he's trying to rhetorically like co-opt science in order to make a claim that the evidence does not support is quite funny. Like this is doesn't understand the scientific method on the bingo card. Like I don't even know what he thinks he's doing here, pointing out that camels like speciated as like a clade or whatever in the Americas has no bearing on ancient Egyptian history and where it took place. Like it's a complete non sequitur. Like what? It's like in his head, because he associates Egypt with camels, camels must have come from Egypt, so wherever camels came from, that's where Egypt was. Like it's like how a toddler would think. Like, this is not how any adult brain should function.
Shows that the family started and evolved there. The camelid family started. It started, origin. We're talking about garden of Eden. We're talking about the first land out of the water. All right? Where animals eventually evolved. It started. All right? The Camelidae family is one of them. Camel. An icon of Egypt, right? That was over here. Ancient Egypt.
Is it an icon of Egypt? Again, like, it's associated with them in pop culture, usually because they're featured in movies and stuff, and I understand that there is a real cultural reason for that. I understand that camels are a beast of burden that is, like, most suited to a desert-like environment, but it seems like the deep symbolic association he's drawing is mostly coming from film and pop culture? Gitara with 41 months says, praise Paul, time to saddle up a battle camel for the battles to come in the fourth dimension. Thank you very much.
customary was over here. Members of this family migrated to South America and Asia. They went to Asia from here.
Yes?
Over land bridges, they say. They don't know this stuff.
What do you mean they don't know this stuff? So you're willing to take their word for it on the origin point, but not the things that disagree with what you believe? Like, this is cherry picking on the deepest level. He's like, I think that this part of this belief of science or this study that science has done agrees with me, so I will take that out and that's mine, and everything else I disagree with, that's not true. The same system that validated the thing you're claiming validated the other things. What are you doing? Bittergrin with 100 bits says, looks like camels were introduced to Egypt by Alexander the Great, so they wouldn't have been a thing in ancient Egypt. Oh, look at that! His idea of the world based on pop culture turned out to be incredibly wrong. What did we learn, chat? What did we learn? Don't shape your view of the world based on fiction films.
So they don't know if it was from the Bering Bridge or if the land was already attached. If it extended all the way to Asia. They don't know. They guess. All right? But they
Nice, Amber. That's actually a good piece of advice.
know that it
Almost on a hype train?
originated here because of the fossil records. All right?
So you don't believe that a land bridge between continents is possible, but you believe in the fossil record? Very strange. Green guy with a $3 tip says, we wanted rabies because due to them firing a lot of the park staff, a big part of their job is wildlife health, and if the rabies outbreaks, they'll drop food pellets to heal the wildlife. Might not happen this summer, but rabies will be more common. That's actually incredibly smart. I hadn't even thought of that. That makes sense. Nemesaur, thank you so much for gifting 20 Tier 1 subs. You are always incredibly generous, and I could not do this show without you, frankly, so thank you. Like I said, I'm a little behind on subs for the month, so chat, if you can, if you like the show, if you watch the show regularly, consider gifting subs or bits to help support it. I'd really appreciate. Alright, continuing.
In the Miocene, camels reached their peak of diversity when nearly 30 genera roamed all over North America. In fact, camels at this time were so successful and abundant that they're one of the most common herbivores found.
I remember the key phrase from AI Sunday. We're here to confirm what we already know. Yeah.
In Miocene fossils.
Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub and getting us over level 5.
AP Camel browsed on the open savanna.
History of old world camels have come into the focus as sustainable livestock species, unique in their morphological and physiological characteristics and capable of providing vital products even under extreme environmental conditions. The evolutionary history of dromedary and Bactrian camels traces back to the Middle Oligocene around 40 million years ago, when the ancestors of the Camelus emerged on the North American continent. Again, where? On the North American continent.
I still don't understand why he thinks this is a point to him at all.
Not Asia, not Africa.
Sometime in the Miocene, Paracamelus crossed the Bering Land Bridge.
He's reading words but not comprehending them. Yeah, it's like he's seeing words that he thinks are saying. It's like he's hearing camels, North America, origin, and that's like all he's absorbing, none of the surrounding information. Freyline says, so hear me out, Italy's actually in America. Marinara sauce is an Italian thing, but tomatoes come from the Americas, so Italy must be in America. Genius, Freyline, we've cracked the code.
Into Asia.
I actually live in the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I've never mentioned it because I don't want to brag, but I actually have to have the camera at a weird angle because I am, and if I had it straight, well, it's very annoying. I hate living like this. It's driving me insane.
Changing
the landlord won't do anything about it.
The course of camel history.
Because it's historically relevant. Whatever. Fix your building, asshole.
The earliest fossils of this camel have been found in Nevada, dating back about 12 million years. But by 7 million years ago, this intrepid explorer had already made it as far as...
How's the cheese addiction going? Pretty good. Got some 18th month aged cheddar from Whole Foods the other day. Pretty darn good.
Spain. Its fossils have been found throughout Europe and Asia, in places like
That doesn't count, because I got asked by chat. That does not count for a bingo space.
China, Russia, Turkey, and Romania. But perhaps the strangest place it's been found is on Ellesmere Island in northern Canada, where a 3.4 million-year-old fossil was reported in 2013. Needless to say, that's
Sorry, I let him just start playing the video again without stopping it. Chitara says, and everywhere must be Africa because humans live all over the world, but the oldest human fossils have been found in Africa. Just that meme. Wait, it's all Africa? Always has been. 10% to level 6 on the hype train. Oh, is he not even gonna talk anymore? He just thinks what he showed was that strong, huh? There you go. Why he thinks camels are the thing, I guess. Why he thinks Egypt is America, 'cause camels. Oh, shit! The Super Soldier Talk people made a video with AI, and it's pretty cringe. Green guy says I bought blue Gatorade, the wife likes yellow. Blue is the correct choice. I don't like yellow Gatorade. Blue or red? Blue or red or light blue. Those are the acceptable sports drink flavors.
When you look into the night sky,
Don't worry about the music, by the way. It's not copyrightable. This is also a terrible AI song that they generated, so not copyrighted.
you see places that you've been.
Yeah, look at how good that is. Look out, Disney. This is certainly gonna replace the work of hard-working animators. Fuck me. 40 seconds left on the hype train, 10% to level 6. Bittergrin says, I missed honest conspiracy slop. They had to, they had to pour their deluded heart and soul into. Me too.
That fill your life with dreams of someone there. That filled your heart with love. To the memories fill your thoughts. Did you know that it would change? Was there ever any time?
You know how you just keep photos of people on, like, shelves that are clearly storage shelves, but, like, they're behind you, like it's your office, and that's, like, a nice shelf you would have photos on. That makes sense. Thanks for the hype train, everyone, especially Nemesaur. I really appreciate the support. Sounds like trash 4Kids would use. Yes! It sounds like a 4Kids anime fucking intro. Like I'm gonna watch Sonic X. Gotta go fast! Gotta go fast! Gotta go faster! 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 Dun, dun, dun. I really need to learn to mask better again. I used to be good at it. Believe it or not. I atrophied that skill over the years, and I don't think it's worked out for me. Are these people just into Star Trek but fascist? Yeah, kinda. They're Nazi sympathizers, so yeah.
I travel in the cosmos. It never seems to end. A life a little longer. You try to comprehend.
Oh, what was the design of that spaceship? Give me a second. Let's look at the... Okay. So the camera pans out. It's trying to do like a camera sweep on this ship of indeterminate shape. And as the camera pans, circles the object, the shape of the object appears to shift along with the changing perspective. God, I fucking hate generative AI. Senikagami with 40 bits says, I'm starting to see why conspiracy theorists think AI is sapience. They have the same analysis and literacy as AI. I'd argue in some cases they're worse. But I wouldn't want them doing important jobs either, so...
Star is what you are, but how do you survive? Time after time you play the game.
Okay, I want to point this out. For any people who are like, oh, AI isn't a plagiarism machine. Look at this fucking... Okay, look at this. Look at this goddamn starbase. Star Trek fans already know where I'm going with this. Look at this goddamn starbase. Look at it. Okay. Give me a sec. It's literally just slightly different the starbase from that they fucking use in the movies in TNG all the time. It's the exact fucking model, basically. They smoothed it out a little, just barely, but it's like the exact same one. This is like this is a model human beings designed and built, because it wasn't even CG at the time. This was a real fucking model. Nice fucking model, honk honk. But you put it through a machine and you got this, an objectively worse version of it. I accidentally made it go away. Give me a sec. Get back in there. Get back in the bar. What are you doing? I gotta copy paste it now because it doesn't want to cooperate.
After time you plan, a shooting star is what you are. But how do you survive? Time after time you play the game. You have to stay alive for the 20 and back.
The one at the edge of the Earth's solar system in the movies, correct? That model's been used for a variety of bases throughout Star Trek from the movies onward. They used them in some of the Star Trek movies, and then in TNG, I think they also reused some of the shots and models, including in some of the TNG movies. They just kind of fudged the scale a little bit.
20 and back. So each time you are home again, the more you understand how critical it is to speak, to travel across this land.
No helmets for the super soldiers? Yeah. What do you think the super in soldiers is? Oh, that's the Milano. Hold on. They just stole that ship design from the Milano, I think, from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's very Milano mixed with more of a paramilitary skin. Hold on. The Milano one, not the second one. Yeah. Reminds me very much of the fucking Milano. Except this is obviously a civilian ship with like a fun coat of paint, but theirs looks like basically a very similar design. But not. Okay. If any law firms need anyone to point out what shit AI is stealing from, I'm available. I've trained my whole life for this accidentally, so if you need someone to help with your million lawsuits, I'm available. Give me a ring. I'll immediately identify this shit.
The conference you create.
That's probably good, right? When the whole console set's on fire. Also, what's this guy doing? He's not holding a steering wheel. There's no yoke or whatever they call it. It's not a wheel. It's you know, a steering column for like a plane. I think it's called a yoke, right? Anyway, control stick. There you go. That's probably the word.
For love. Service to others.
Service to
If
self.
you don't get the word out, then lies will surely fade.
Yep. Spread the craziness or you're the problem. That's good. Green guy with a tip says, blue Gatorade is good as fuck. I think I'll have another. Not a bad choice.
There's no one else to help them. Your saber-toothed blade. The work you do is
What's that run cycle? Come on, man.
The work you do essential.
Oh no, his arms are
The
losing
comforts
it.
you create.
Do I even need to point out that this is a Starship's Trooper ripoff? No, probably not.
So very influential.
You're so influential. You're not a crazy person on the internet. You're an influential super soldier. You don't need therapy. You're influential.
Call out a
Do we know what model made this? I do not know. I don't think they say in the description or anything. This is an ad, by the way, for their conference. They're doing a conference. Chitara says, holy shit, these lyrics are nonsensical. These super soldiers are depicted as having access to all sorts of advanced tech and are supposed to be the pinnacle of human physicality, but all the song talks about is how they're fighting to barely stay alive because they're all alone and surrounded by nondescript enemies. In fairness, that is reflective of how they talk. Remember, a lot of these people are closet, or not even that closet, fascists. Like, James Rink has actively talked about how he, like, thinks the Nazis have been given a bad rap. And, like, secretly, they were fighting for humanity all along. So, like, the idea of them having an enemy that is super weak and they're super powerful, and meanwhile the enemy is, like, always around every corner and they're always, you know... It's very on brand for the fasciness of their, you know, beliefs.
cross the land.
Did you have to... What did you type in to get this image? Do you think he just said sci-fi lady and the general landscape of objectification took over? Or did he specifically request big-titted space lady whose like, onesie doesn't quite fit right because of her ginormous tits? Oh no, it's supposed to have that. It's like a Supergirl thing. Or not Supergirl, fuck. The clone! Project Cadmus fucking lady. You know who I'm talking about. I'm not a DC person. Anyway, what's the tit window for? Is that tactical? Power girl. Thank you. Got a power girl tit window.
You've gotta get the word out.
And to be clear, before anyone's like, aren't you a hypocrite? You have multiple costumes with tit windows. Fun fact. Those tit windows are literally to be cute and make me look good and be objectified on the internet intentionally with my consent. If I was fighting space aliens, I wouldn't have a tit window. I'd ask for many layers of armor.
To break the great divide. Come to the Super Soldier Activation Conference in October 2025.
Well, there we go. Full beans. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, let's see what we got next. We'll do another one or two of these, and then we'll check the bingo card. Oh, we don't cover this guy a lot because he mostly does, live streams that are kind of long and pointless, but he finally put out a quick video, so I can finally show you this guy. Sorry, Bittergrin. Bittergrin says that ship's controlled by a Kinect, so he has to make hand gestures like he's steering. There you go. Future technology. Sorry I missed that at the time, by the way. Anyway, so let's check it out. This guy's channel's name is Mudflood Was Armageddon. He is a strange fella. I watch him from time to time, I just don't watch him on stream, because again, his content, normally not entertaining in short chunks, he's a slow burn. But here he's not.
Welcome everybody to Mud Flood Was Armageddon. That's right, the Mud Flood was the Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they are willing to debate me in a fair and honest way, which means they don't try to beat me up. We're in
I don't know why he's afraid anyone is gonna beat him up.
canyons.
He's always looking for people to debate with, but no one wants to debate with him, because even compared to, like, a lot of Flat Earth people who can find people to debate them, he's a little bit incoherent and angry. And I think I've heard him use slurs before on videos. Not in this video, but I'm pretty sure he's quite anti-Semitic.
City, Colorado, everybody.
Which is actually funny, because he will call other people, like, he calls out racism against, like black people, for instance. I've seen him call out. And I've seen him call out, like, South Africa for its history of apartheid and racism. But then he's like super anti-Semitic. Like, I know that's not impossible. I know there are people with all sorts of weird mixes of beliefs out there, but it's very funny to me that he seems pretty anti-racism against, like, you know, general groups of, like, non-white people, but, like, he's really anti-Semitic. Funny that he doesn't see the contradiction or the hypocrisy at all.
All the rocks are
Yes, this is Canyon City, Colorado. He says that later.
body parts of the Titans. All the rocks are body parts of the Titans that died like men and are reserved in judgment.
This rock, tree, whatever, it was a human and giants on the bingo card.
These are body parts. They
He's not Roger, but he believes a lot of similar things to Roger. It would not surprise me if he was a fan of Roger.
rewrite the history of everything, and they even tell us in Canyon City, Colorado, here's where they discovered the dinosaur eggs, and here they are on this ledge here that he's showing you. Thank you, Joaquin. And as we walk, we see the string of what they call billion-year-old dinosaur eggs.
Fossils of billion-year-old dinosaur eggs. The eggs are long gone. Their material has been replaced by non-organic material that is still in the same shape as the original. That's what fossils are.
They are lying. They are lying.
Does the titty window count as not how women work? I'll count it. Not how women work on the bingo card.
They think they know that they are these type of dinosaurs based on absolute nonsense.
I like that he points at a thing that clearly has actual information that would explain how they know that, and maybe even point to more resources if you'd like to learn more. But he just does the thought-stopping thing of, it's nonsense! We don't have to think about it. We don't have to specifically debunk anything. He called the plaque nonsense, so it is.
Okay, here we go. And this is their proof for evolution, that God...
This is not the proof for evolution. It is one amongst it is a drop in a sea of evidence that points towards our understanding of evolution as it currently sits being correct.
God didn't make a flat earth domed world, and that we're all...
I don't think I can answer that question, Christopher B. I don't think that would be very nice or fair.
going to be judged. So what I am begging you to consider is that this is a flat earth nation. The golden age is past because the mud flood was Armageddon. The Bible's true. Jesus...
Well, then I'm getting out of here.
...said I was coming...
I need to stop stealing jokes from, I don't know, 50 years? That's probably... How old is that joke? Armageddon out of here? That's got to be a 100-year-old joke. Fuck.
...back in that generation, and he did.
You can plagiarize people if they're dead.
And we're living with it now. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Makamade. Adios, amigos. You know that's how I like to say goodbye.
All right, then. Here's another video by him. It's 14 minutes long, and he shows some more footage of him at the canyon.
Welcome, everybody, to Mud Flood Was Armageddon. The Mud Flood was the Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way.
And remember, it's only fair and honest if you agree with him already. I don't know. I've never seen him actually debate anyone, so I'm guessing he doesn't get the offer very often. He does have thousands of subscribers, so it's not like he's shouting into the void. He does have subscribers and viewers. He just doesn't seem to have a lot of detractors, because the only people who watch him are other kind of out there conspiracy people who just take everything he says as gospel.
I was watching a really good part of a video surgeon.
Of course he's missing teeth. I'm missing teeth too, Jay's a proxy. Am I a crackpot conspiracy theory?
Just
no, I don't care.
Posted, and I'm going to share
I can't even pretend to be offended on that one.
Part of that. So before we'll be looking at these kind of things. Tonight. I don't know if he likes to enforce his copyright things or not.
Probably.
Maybe you know.
Like hiking it, which
We're in Canyon City, Colorado,
ones in the 1920s sat far more people.
Oh, and then he plays someone else's video. Wow. He really just likes to play other people's videos.
Enoch and Jubilees and all.
Okay, we can move on. He's a little disorganized at the moment. Oh, here's a video about toilets. We will look at the bingo card after this video. No toilets in the old world. We got there. We finally got there. I don't know if you guys know this. Historically, people shit in holes. That's actually not true. It depends on the place. So most places throughout history did not have running water plumbing, obviously. They did not have wastewater systems the way that we do in the modern day. So I don't know if you know this. Cities used to smell very, very bad because there was human waste all over the place and people would try to take it places to dispose of and stuff. But historically, in some cities, I'm not joking, literally sometimes people would like have their chamber pot or whatever that they went to the bathroom in during the evening, and then they just dump it out onto the street in the morning. You know. I'm not saying it didn't exist ever, Tea Time Tea. I'm trying to explain that it was not commonplace. It was not standard as it is today.
The Milan Cathedral, the Notre Dame Cathedral, the Windsor Castle, St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna, Austria, the Cologne Cathedral, the Tower of London, and Edinburgh Castle. They all have one massive thing in common. What is it? All of these places having this one thing that shows that the mainstream history is not...
Oh, this is funny. A lot of castles did actually have toilets. Hold on, I can show you. I actually read about this as a kid because there was a little period where I was interested in castles. So it wasn't like running plumbing, like we think of today, but it would be something along the lines of...
Here's a question for
this. There's a picture of it somewhere. Basically, it's a little room that is appended to the castle or whatever. This particular instance is not a castle, it's some other brick building. And then there's basically like a hole at the bottom where the feces and other waste would fall out. And then you would have, under this, sometimes there would be like a thing it would run through. But the idea is it would fall into something, and then there would be someone at the bottom whose job it would be to literally muck it out, basically. I forget what they're called. I keep wanting to call them a poop smith because of Homestar Runner, but they are not poop smiths. There's a different word for the persons whose job it was to clean the shitter. I don't know what else to call it. But yeah, this was a thing. It was a thing. There were toilets in castles, and it was someone's job to clean it up. Not a fun job. And then you also have situations like Roman toilets, since they have a picture of this here already, why not show it? These were communal toilets that existed in public, so people didn't necessarily have bathrooms in their house, unless they were quite wealthy. So you had public toilets that people could use, And infamously, there was a communal sponge that would be used to clean yourself off after you were done with your business. You would take the communal sponge and dip it in the water and use it to clean yourself. The smell, I cannot even imagine. I cannot even imagine the smell. Anyway.
Not giving us the full picture, and it's not even close. Massive palaces all over the world, constructed with perfection. And not one of these structures was built with a toilet. We are told that humans could ride on their donkeys without a light bulb and without a road, and construct palaces in
Sir, can I introduce you to the concept of a chamber pot?
every single country. Yet they had to go to the bathroom in their yard and wipe with a leaf. No.
Not necessarily a leaf. I'm aware of some places. This was sort of, how do I put this? This isn't as far back as he's describing, but my understanding is that for a period of time, at least in the Americas, when people had outhouses and stuff, sometimes they would have reusable cloths that would be washed regularly, as opposed to toilet paper, which of course is a relatively modern invention, because, you know, cheap mass-produced paper of that scale was not feasible historically. So you would literally have, like, a cloth or something that you would use, and then it would get cleaned. Black's Law Dictionary request. Toilet? You want me to look up toilet? You want me to look up toilet? Fine, I'll look up toilet.
We're living in the ruins of the previous civilization. A civilization that either didn't use toilets at all, or...
I guess it depends on what you mean by that. Like, civilizations have come and gone, just as ours will go at some point, and as human beings don't become extinct, there will be other civilizations. That's just humans. I don't know what to tell you. But there was not a great reset, like they talk about. There was not a Tartaria.
This group of
Sears catalog was popular for outhouses. That would make sense. Relatively cheap paper they just fucking sent to your door.
people were so advanced that they used a form of plumbing and sanitation that is completely misunderstood to us today. A way to remove the waste so that it's not inside your house. It was repurposed by the people who came after. What was repurposed? Not the toilets, because they didn't have any. So many of these structures, in my opinion, are repurposed, and they now need a toilet. We have shown that by using the organ in these cathedrals, it resonates with the bones below the floors.
What? 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 What do you mean it resonates with the bones?
We are told that humans built the Milan Cathedral but couldn't figure out how to manage human waste.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think if in the Middle Ages you'd asked someone if they were gonna, like, shit in the church, they would have hung you or burned you at the stake for heresy. Like, the idea... do people understand that the idea of having a bathroom in your house was not... For most of human history, that's not a thing. They have such a normalcy bias for their own life that they cannot imagine not being able to shit in their house and then it just goes somewhere and they don't have to think about it. That is not the human experience for the vast majority of human history. We are incredibly privileged to be able to get up in the middle of the night and use the bathroom, and then it just goes, and we don't have to think about it. That was not the standard for most places in human history, ever. Bittergrin says, organs play a lot of notes. They resonate with a lot of things.
We are told that they just put their waste in the streets. They tell...
Yeah, it was gross, man. Have you met human beings? Human beings are disgusting unless you teach them otherwise. Like, I'm just gonna... I think the recent statistic was 30% of women and 50% of men don't wash their hands after using the bathroom, including poops, including number twos. Have you considered humans are just fucking disgusting animals? Just letting you know, man.
Tell us that they dumped it out of the...
And that's still with social pressure. Back then, there apparently wasn't social pressure not to do this shit.
windows with a bucket and
This guy probably doesn't wash his ass. Maybe.
wiping with their hand. This is the story. This doesn't translate to constructing perfect palaces with
Yeah, I think that's actually a reason still in some countries that shaking with this, or rather eating with a specific hand was considered gross or rude historically, was because it was the hand that you used to wash yourself after using the bathroom. That was a thing. Like, if you look back into the history of etiquette in certain countries, it was standard that you had a hand that was your offhand, your get rid of shit hand. Then you had a hand that you would, like, eat and do other stuff with. Anyway.
architectural designs that blow our minds today. Now, thinking logically, if you could
I don't know if you're capable of that.
build this, and this with perfection, zero mistakes.
Again, it's like, he sees something that he finds aesthetically beautiful and confuses that for technological superiority. Like, if he looked at the Mona Lisa and he thought it was pretty, would he assume it's sci-fi technology? That's effectively what he's doing here. Doesn't understand architecture on the bingo card.
Mistakes, and they're still here today, then you would be able to design a sewer system that we use today.
No, incorrect. You're just stating that as if that's like an objectively true thing when it is not. It's not. Evidence, all of human history.
And we all know it. No running.
And we all know it. Wow, we're presuppositionaling fucking Tartaria now. Is that where we're at? You're so deep in the hole that you can't even imagine other people not agreeing with you? Yeah, becoming the Ray Comfort of toilets is probably a good career move. Okay, so there's no toilet. Together. To union with, along with. That's all I got.
Water, yet constructing granite.
Oh wait, how about this? Tolerate, to allow, so as not to hinder, to permit, as something not wholly approved of, to suffer, to endure. What I'm doing now.
With precision. If you don't have running water, it's incredibly dangerous for the entire population. You have filth everywhere.
Yeah, have you seen the mortality rates back then? People died all the fucking time of really disgusting things.
Diseases. Nobody is bathing. And according to the mainstream...
I like that this just, like, comes down to, like, what? Humans did what? Yeah, man! Yeah, it's fucked up. Crazy, but it's true. MH Darkbeast says, I lost my Minotaur gunslinger in Pathfinder 2 on Sunday. Sent you the picture of my dummy, thick former bard, now barbarian, who has a magical pony he tap dances with, Ebenezer Tinglehorn. Nice name.
History, we are all told that ancient Rome, Greece, Mesopotamia, and the Indus Valley, they all had running water. Public...
Great! I'm very happy for them. That's fucking awesome. Not every civilization did. Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, he also assumes that the buildings are perfect when something is that big, you can hide a lot of mistakes. Green Guy says, wait, you guys wash your hands? Did you use the 3 seashells? Ah, Demolition Man, everyone. Remember Demolition Man? Making movie references like it's a punchline is my job, Green Guy. One of these days I'm gonna get replaced by a IMDb randomizer. Ugh.
Baths. The Romans supposedly had aqueducts, underground sewage. All of this over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, man, I don't know if you know this, the Romans were pretty famous for, like, a lot of that shit. And then when the Roman, like, civilization fell, like, a lot of shit changed for a lot of areas of the world.
This is what we are told. And then the year 500 hits. And that technology, it just vanishes. It's just gone.
Yeah, if you no longer have a central civilization, like organizing education and, like, public works projects, things fall apart. Do people genuinely not understand that, like, if you stop sharing information with younger generations and teaching them how to do things, and if you stop having a central government or something organize public works, everything falls apart? Civilization is not just a thing that you're like, all right, I finished it, like a painting. It's something you are constantly upkeeping. It's civilization is not a painting. It's a 1984 DeLorean. It's cool to look at, but it's a real bitch, and you constantly need to fix it or it just fucking breaks down on you.
Gone. Nobody has running water anymore. No pipes and no baths. Just ragging themselves off over in the pond. And this carries all the way to the year 1800.
Ryan Cooper with a $2 super chat says, insert reference to Meet the Feebles here.
I believe
I wanted Dead Alive.
that this is the mainstream narrative, admitting that the previous civilization was here. In this time.
Sir, you are positing a made-up civilization of Tartaria. No one is saying, except that one crazy TikTok lady. Do you remember the lady that said the Roman Empire wasn't real? Anyway, her aside, no one is saying that Rome didn't exist. And like when Rome went away, a lot of things were lost and society shifted a lot in areas that previously were under the rule of Rome. That's not a secret. That's like a primary narrative of Western history. It's one of the reasons we called the Middle Ages the Dark Ages for so long, because it was seen as like a downgrade from like when Rome was in charge, because, you know, there was less education and less technology and stuff. Now, we changed that nomenclature because it's not quite accurate, and it's also very Western-centric because, well, the European Middle Ages were happening, like all sorts of stuff was happening elsewhere in the world that wasn't a shit show. I think the Golden Age of Islam happened in there somewhere. So, but like, it's not a secret that shit got bad in a lot of European places during the Middle Ages, relatively speaking. Now, in fairness, fewer people getting crucified, but...
Timeline that they show us, they are admitting that plumbing, clean water, and bathing actually happened. And then something massive happened.
Human society can go backwards!
Advanced civilization was gone. And the main...
Yes! Rome fell, correct?
Mainstream narrative calls them the ancients.
Yes! It's like, is he so desperate to be right that he's now going to say that actually Tartaria was Rome? What is he talking about?
Roman Empire, when this was just the previous civilization. Because we didn't evolve.
It was Rome! The previous civilization you're discussing is Rome!
And we didn't advance at all. We went backwards 100%. Something happened.
Rome fell! Rome fell and the Middle Ages happened! Christianity took over and changed a lot of the social systems and ideas. What are you what? That's... He... Does he think it's a secret that the Roman Empire fell? What the fuck? I'm so confused. Like, he's so desperate to be right. He's turning a known historical happening into a conspiracy so he can claim it like he invented it. Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, War 1, War 2, War 3, and just more wars until no Rome. I miss the Pax Romana. Green Guy says, Hannah, you know Rome is a city now. The Vatican is there. Oh, fuck off. You know what I mean. Actually, did you know there is a place called Rome? And that's clearly what you meant when you were talking about ancient Roman civilization. Nah. That's what I think of that $1 you gave me. You handed me $1 to make fun of you. How's that feel?
We are told that...
I wish that happened in the rest of my life. This stream is a very weird place for me. What if I was just out in the world and someone gave me $1 and, like, said some shit at me and I made fun of them? That's what my life is like.
Plumbing just started back up in the 1840s. Again and again and again. In our timeline, over and over. You can go back to episode 10 and 38. We've been saying this for years. It doesn't matter what topic you bring up. Everything starts back up in the 17 or 1800s. You can look at any basic invention. The plane, the TV, the phone, the light bulb, the population data spikes. You can
Yes, because of things like vaccines and modern medicine that led to a decrease in infant mortality rates, and also people started living longer, which increases the number of people at any given time because there's fewer people dying.
read the stories, and they will all tell you that they discovered sites in the 1800s. They never discovered
Yes, there was a lot of archaeology.
this stuff before it.
Wait, yes, they did. You think that they didn't? What? They knew about Rome. Fucking people in the UK literally lived amongst, like, ruins of Rome. Like, does he not know that there's, like, ancient Roman, like shit that was all over Europe? There's less of it today because a lot of it got over centuries and millennia, like, scavenged by people for building materials and other things. But, like, they were amongst the ruins of Rome in many places, including in the UK. They were very aware of it. It wasn't a secret.
We've documented this hundreds of times now. Our civilization's timeline just started, and we are being given back the old world technology. There was a reset, and it's beyond obvious at this point, where some people still didn't have plumbing until the 1970s. So after
Yeah, again, what is he surprised? I don't even understand what he's surprised by.
all of this, the question remains, why were these massive palaces constructed all over the world,
Are you familiar with human psychology?
covered in gold, marble, and stained glass, built with
I met a traveler in an antique land. My name is Ozymandias.
perfect geometry?
Stone Corbell says, ancient Egypt had their equivalent of our Egyptologists who studied what they considered ancient Egypt. That's how old Egypt is. Yeah, the go-to to explain that is, we are closer to Cleopatra than Cleopatra was to the building of the pyramids.
Yet they didn't have a toilet. We are just getting started today. Welcome to episode 126 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if
Amber says, we've been to the ruins of a Roman theater. It was a part of an archaeological dig we went to on a trip to the EU. That sounds fucking awesome.
you're new, welcome.
Oh yeah, that was all just before the title, by the way. I'm mad, can you tell? Lennon Cat says, people in northern England during the Middle Ages apparently, quote, this is Hadrian's Wall. Who's Hadrian? No idea. Yeah.
Ever wonder why your brain feels foggy? Even when you're eating clean and exercising.
Oh, shilling! Shilling on the bingo card! Yay!
It might not be burnout. It could be parasites. Ground
I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but a lot of conspiracy theorists, let's call them paranoid personality types, have gotten obsessed with the idea that they're full of parasites in the last 5 years. I think some of this started because of, like, ivermectin and stuff being used by idiots during COVID, and then they found out that ivermectin is, like, an anti-parasitic medication, and of course people were telling them, hey, don't take that because that's not going to help your COVID, and there's potential side effects of taking stuff that you're not prescribed. And collectively they all went, why are they trying to get us to stop taking anti-parasitics? Are we secretly full of parasites that are controlling our brains? So that's pretty much how we got here. People told them not to do something because it was dangerous, and they immediately assumed people were trying to trick them into not taking anti-parasitic medication they didn't need. So here we are.
groundbreaking research from Dr.
Hannah dies of laughter. Nah, I don't think that was dies of laughter.
Alan McDonald revealed a direct link between chronic parasitic infection and neurological diseases like multiple sclerosis. Parasites can cause inflammation, nerve damage, and long-term cognitive.
And if you're in the United States, you almost certainly don't have them. That might change because of the reduced regulation in, like, the meat industries. We'll see how that goes, but generally in the United States and other countries that are considered developed, you don't have a bunch of people picking up random parasites because of you know, standards and regulations within the food industries, within farms, within slaughterhouses, stuff like that.
Decline. This is more reason to do a full body
Ancient wisdom. We can do ancient wisdom for the general vibe of the video, yeah.
cleanse at least once a year, and the wellness company has a solution for you. Ivermectin plus
Oh, I bet they have a solution for the problem that they're making you scared about that doesn't exist.
mebendazole, the gold standard parasite solution. Now
You know what, at this point, good. Take it. Fuck it. You believe this? Good. I hope you take it every day. That is a joke. Don't do that. Don't take medications like this without talking to a doctor, especially a doctor that's going to tell you, no, don't take that, idiot!
combined in a one cleanse combo.
Senekagami says, I think it has more to do with them rejecting germ theory due to being anti-vax. There's both records of parasites since ancient times in comparison. Yeah, because parasites are bigger. You don't need a microscope to see them most of the time. They just come out of your body and you go, oh, that's gross.
Designed to eliminate harmful invaders.
I'm genuinely disgusted by people that are like, oh, if I can't see it with my own eyes without any scientific instruments, it's not real.
And support
You're not real. Get out of my reality.
your immune system naturally. This is not some trendy herbal gimmick. This is medical grade. Fill out a quick intake.
Green Guy says we all have parasites. They're called billionaires. We did it!
Form and get a 3-month supply shipped right to your door. Maha is officially here, and the wellness This company is making hard-to-get medications digitally accessible so you can live your best life. Head to twc.health/MLB and use code MLB to save $60 off plus free shipping. Let's all cleanse our body today. And I want to thank all of our sponsors.
Hey, fun fact, by the way, chemotherapy is also FDA approved, but I wouldn't inject it for no fucking reason.
Over on Patreon. Thank you to FlatEarthDave.com. You can check out his app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app.
Oh my god, he's doing an ivermectin ad and an ad for Flat Earth Dave's fucking scam app? Great. Wow, quality content.
And you can use my referral code, MLB. If you click the Tartaria button, you'll see the My Lunch Break playlist right here. The app is
It's okay, I have the express written permission of the MLB to watch this conspiracy video.
awesome. Thank you to Rebecca Kay, David and Sherry Ferguson, Chuck Templeton, Joy Lee, Stephanie Nolan, the Burlesons, Ed Kozolner, Thompson.
2 ad reads and a Patreon. No offense, but fuck this guy. 2 ad reads and a Patreon? Eat ass. Speaking of which, I have a Patreon if you want to subscribe to it, patreon.com/HannahReloaded. But I don't do ad reads, so.
Shaba in the darkness. You guys are all awesome and helping this channel out a lot. So the question remains, why didn't these palaces have a toilet? You built this massive palace and you can't figure out how to put a toilet in?
I don't think it's so much they couldn't figure out how, is it's easier when, how do I put this? I think we're very used to construction materials and engineering being cheap, and labor being a more expensive cost, whereas historically, labor was very cheap and engineering was expensive. So historically, for a lot of places, if you're like a king or whatever, makes more sense to shit in a chamber pot and just, like, have one of your servants go fucking do something with it, than install toilets. Again, as I said, though, many castles did have toilets that hung off the side and then were dealt with. He's just acting as though that isn't a thing. There's historical ways humans dealt with their waste.
We all know that this is not what happened. We already know they were technologically capable of putting a toilet in if they wanted to. We can see what they created. These things are...
I'm going to put this out there again. I'm pretty sure historically the idea of putting a toilet in a church where God lived would have gotten you burned at the stake. Like, I think if during the Middle Ages you were like, we gonna put a shitter in this thing? They would have immediately fucking killed you. The idea of, like, defecating in the house of the Lord would not have culturally been okay at the time. I'm just putting it out there. We are very used to using bathrooms in any given building. It's not a big deal to us. Historically, especially, that kind of thing was considered like dirty and like not a thing you would ever associate with God. It would not fly. Overthought says, as someone once said, you know he's a king because he doesn't have shit all over him.
We're still here today. And if you've ever been inside one of these structures, you'll know that they weren't constructed for a simplistic donkey.
Does he understand that there's, again, he confuses aesthetic quality with engineering quality, and they're not totally mutually exclusive, but he's acting as though because you can make something aesthetically beautiful, you must be able to make a functional sewer, which isn't necessarily the case.
Riding, reading by candlelight, hut living society. The individuals who...
I'm normally pretty big on trying to cover kids' faces in videos. But, like, if the kids have been dead for 50 years, I think it's probably fine to not cover their faces. Like, this is a historical photo from, like, 1889. These kids are dead. You don't have to cover their faces. It's fine.
Those who constructed these palaces were incredible and purposely left the toilets off the blueprints. And I believe they did this because we are not being told what the true purpose of these structures really are. I believe they've been completely hijacked, just like everything else has. I believe that their true purpose was actually to be an energy machine. They were not constructed for people to go hang out inside of for long periods of time.
Then why are they so big on the inside? If you just wanted to make an antenna, you could do that without having it be a space with an interior. So why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Lennon Cat says, on the subject of a toilet in a church...
Of course.
But isn't that a sin?
Mark, just about everything is a sin. You ever sat down and read this thing? Technically, we're not allowed to go to the bathroom.
Where did it go?
And I'm going to prove it right now. Gothic cathedrals are constructed with sacred geometry. Constructed using the golden ratio, where we all know that the Notre Dame Cathedral incorporates this ratio all over it.
For aesthetic purposes, not magic.
Including in its floor plan layout. The golden ratio represents a specific relationship where the sum of two quantities divided by the larger quantity equals the larger quantity divided by the smaller one. These cathedrals are also constructed using the Fibonacci spirals as well as other geometry. These geometric designs, they are created for resonance.
There's a very well, yes, but that's for the carrying of, like, music, of worship, not energy in the way that you are thinking in the conspiratorial sense. They were certainly built with acoustics in mind.
And this is where we go even deeper. The layout...
You ever heard a bunch of Latin chanting in one of these rooms? Pretty crazy shit.
Aligns with frequency harmonics, meaning that these structures were designed to conduct and amplify sound and
Just a Peach with $1 tip says, when I was a kid, one of our neighbors on the back road still had an outhouse. Yeah, in rural areas, plumbing was not a thing, necessarily, until very recently.
Energy. These structures were not constructed to just go sit inside of the way that we do today, and we are not being told their true purpose. So many cathedrals had
My source is I made it the fuck up.
Massive pipe organs before electricity existed. Well, so we're told. Where so many
Does he think pipe organs need electricity? It's an
times
organ.
These organs were destroyed, renovated, or removed, including the Notre Dame Cathedral, where the grand organ has undergone multiple so-called reconstructions.
Yeah, you gotta do that, because entropy exists.
Portions of the organ have been destroyed during the French Revolution. Another example of this is at the St. Paul's Cathedral, located...
It wasn't wasn't Notre Dame where they had the big orgy from the Cult of Reason, right? Was that a different church where the Cult of Reason had the big fucking orgy? I genuinely forget. I know they did that. I just don't remember what church they did it in.
In London, England, where the original organ was removed in the 1800s yet again, removing and reconfiguring the original pipes. Even in the Cologne Cathedral, Germany, where the organ was removed and lost. Give me a break. Doing this in the 1800s yet again, during a series of so-called restoration projects, where even the replacement was destroyed during World War II. Which is crazy because the building survived and they made an agreement that you couldn't bomb it. So why was the organ being destroyed? And the further you go, the more you see how this happened everywhere. France, dismantling another organ. Spain, one was destroyed by fire, of course. And the Milan Cathedral, where it was home to one of the largest pipe organs in Italy. And over time, significant components were removed or downsized. I believe these structures didn't have plumbing because they were not places for people to stay for long periods of time. Were these places for people to go and heal? People to walk
most people just didn't. Most people didn't have toilets in buildings historically.
Through. They would step in and get their frequency corrected, and then they would step out. It's all very...
That doesn't even make sense, because you would still have a toilet if that was the case, if toilets were the standard in every building, but they weren't.
Very interesting, especially when we see something shocking, and we take this even further, that the material...
Didn't the way music was read change several times? Yeah, there wasn't a standardized system of music notation until quite recently in human history. You take that for granted, too. The fact that we now have a relatively standardized, form of music notation is not historically common.
Materials used for these structures, such as granite, limestone, and quartz, were used in the construction, and they were, as we have documented so many times, brought from far distances. Now, why would you do this? They would do this because they needed it to be perfect. And these materials are known for their piezoelectric and electromagnetic properties. When stimulated by sound or pressure, these materials can emit charge or affect energy fields. These places were not at all what we've all been told. And I'm not so sure we should be going in some of these today, since we all know they've been hijacked, they've been taken over, they've been repurposed, and we all know so many of them have a lot of bones underneath the floors, which we've also shown have piezoelectric properties.
They're using our bones to generate electricity from the organ vibes!
The same thing that these structures are built with. These structures are not constructed for somebody to stay
organs to turn our bones gay
in for long periods of time. I believe these structures were originally created to be a place to undergo a healing experience like we've never seen before. And today, the organs are gone. They're destroyed or renovated. They've been changed, possibly to frequencies.
Yeah, man, everything changes over a long enough period of time. That's literally how time works.
That it was never meant to be. And now we stay in these places for a very long time. So long that we need to go
That
to
was a scary noise to hear from Hannah's mouth. You have no idea.
the bathroom. And then we come sit back down. I don't believe that that was ever supposed to be the case. Healing centers that have been altered. And this is documented like we have shown. Going even further, these stained glass...
This is documented like we have shown. What are you talking about? You showed a bunch of non sequitur shit that had nothing to do with this, and then you drew conclusions that were not reasonable. You didn't show dick.
Windows also give off a frequency where light isn't just illumination. Red, blue, green, and violet light all impact the body in different electromagnetic ways.
Oh my god, wait, is this the Chat GPT text font? Is he getting this information from Chat GPT? I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. I just realized I think this is a Chat GPT conversation he's citing. He's citing a conversation. he had with ChatGPT, and he's citing it like it's a source. Flames? Flames on the side of my face. Bittergrin says, but hospitals have bathrooms, and if you were going there to get cured of constipation, you'd want a toilet. True.
Stained glass. It filters sunlight through a very specific frequency, and the entire interior is filled with color therapy.
Again, he's reading this like it's cited from somewhere. He made a robot type this. And then he's like, look at what I made the robot type. Is this evidence? Butterfly meme. Is this evidence? Oh my fuck.
What have we just found?
Hey,
Color
Will.
therapy. We have been fully unaware of what these structures are for.
By the way, we're about 2 hours into the stream somehow. It doesn't feel like it, but we somehow are. If you like the stream, consider subscribing or gifting subs. It really helps. Couldn't do the show without it. So thanks, everyone.
So long. It's time that this technology is brought back to the world, and it begins by asking.
All right, you seem to think you know how it works real well. You do it. You're acting like you're some sort of expert on all this bullshit. So how about you get off your fucking ass and do something, loser? He sits around going like, what, all of human history? People just, what did they do? You're sitting in your room making YouTube videos, dork. Go do something. You think you have magic healing, like, knowledge? Go do it, you asshole.
Asking questions exactly like we're doing here today. And we are just scratching the surface of what these structures really are. Not only do they look incredible, but now we know that they were created to be so much more. And they were clearly not created by someone with no training that went and slept in a barn on some hay. This is so much deeper, including the floor.
I can feel in his head, is he uncomfortable with the reality that the way humans work, unfortunately, is that classism is a thing, and you would have people laboring to produce palaces and then go home and sleep on hay? Like, does that make him uncomfortable that we don't all work together to create sort of a median, like, living experience that's, like, relatively good for as many people as possible? Like, can he just not comprehend that that's not how humans work? No, we throw our lives away working for powerful people that don't give a shit about us. And, like, we're very unequal because of that. Like, I understand that that's discomforting, but it's reality. I don't sit around going, this doesn't make sense. Like it's the human condition.
Plans where they mirror circuit boards. The layouts of many cathedrals, viewed from above, look like electronic circuits, repeating shapes, symmetrical nodes, long corridors, and circular capacitor like chambers, where even the stained glass windows, like we mentioned, resemble fractal energy patterns. Now let's go even.
I know it's true because the robot told me. I'm not a crazy conspiracy theorist. I just get all my information from the robot that talks to me through the internet. I'm not crazy. The robot tells me the truth that the historians are lying to me. The robot understands that there's no toilets and it doesn't make sense. The robot gets me. Why doesn't anyone else get me? Only the robot tells me the truth about the toilets. And then he does another fucking ivermectin sponsorship or something.
Further, what properties make up a circuit board? You need a central node. This is the power source or processor. Capacitors, coils. This is for holding or amplifying the energy.
I know what a fucking capacitor is. If you don't know if you think you need to explain what a capacitor is, shut up. Like you think you're talking about, oh, I know secret cutting edge fucking energy secrets. By the way, here's what a capacitor is. It's in the goddamn name.
Doors, connections, the linking functions, and fractal logic. So now let's take this and compare it to the old world cathedrals. Starting with the Chartres Cathedral in France, we are told it was constructed over 1,000 years ago. And when you take a look at the floor, you're gonna see that we are correct. These are identical. Not for decoration, this is a resonator, a giant 42-foot diameter frequency loop, an energetic circuit. Not only that, but it also has 34 total turns, which is of course a Fibonacci number, the same exact sequence used in resonant antenna design and harmonic frequency tuning. These were created for healing. And the old world would walk through a massive field of vibration.
Okay, great. If you think that's how it works, go do something with it. Stop being a loser on the internet, making unproven claims, and go do something with your life.
Generating subtle bioelectric responses, exactly like a circuit completing its loop. This circuit board has a continuous spiral loop, which creates a path for current to flow in repeating isolations, and it of course produces or reacts to vibrational frequencies. So when they destroyed those organs in the 1800s, they knew exactly what they were doing. They were turning the machine.
They didn't destroy them. They replaced them because the old ones were broken. Because that's what happens over time, is you either refurbish them or you replace them, because over hundreds or thousands of years, things break. Because that's entropy.
Off. And I believe we have just proved this. These were without a doubt not places to go and sit for long periods of time, which is exactly why those benches are not made of stone. They are made of wood, and they were put there by our civilization.
Why would they make the furniture out of stone? That doesn't make a lot of sense, to make the furniture out of the building. Is the furniture in your house made out of the same stuff as your house? Hello? Do you know how furniture works? My furniture doesn't look like the walls of my house, you psycho. Also, I don't know historically when pews were introduced. I don't know if they were always a thing, or if that's a more modern invention. I don't know if you would have standing room services historically.
I believe that these places, they were to get your mind, your body, and your inner self on the same frequency, the right frequency. And I believe this created a very powerful society. The exact thing this time period that we're all in does not want. This is all in my opinion, and I've said it before, every sign points to this being a little secret.
Just a Peach says, does he think tech always looks the same? I wonder why. Oh no, I know why, because he asked someone who knew, not a lying app.
Deception, destruction.
Drywall-based furniture. I make all of my furniture out of pure asbestos, so I will never spontaneously combust.
Of the past.
Or at least if I do, it'll remain centered on me, and it won't spread to my precious movies. And it mentions Blu-rays on the bingo card. Fuck.
Wars and the rest. And before we go on, let's take a minute and thank all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber. And everybody.
Oh wow, he's gonna do more ad reads too. So he did this is a 26-minute video. He did 2 ad reads earlier. He's doing 2 Patreon shout-outs, and now he's gonna do another fucking ad
on YouTube
for a right-wing coffee brand.
If you're looking for your starter kit sent from us, $17.75 coffee just dropped their starter kit. So if you
no coffee brand coffee, what a shame.
You've been scared to commit, don't worry. It's not vegan, it's not woke, and it won't ask you for your pronouns. It's coffee.
Don't you hate when your coffee asks you for your pronouns and other situations that right-wing people make up in their head to get mad about? What? I like that they just make up shit to get mad at. There's so many real things to be mad at in the world. Yeah, and fucking, what's he talking about? The vegan shit? What is this, fucking meat coffee? Did you grow meaty coffee beans?
coffee. You already know we back it. Now here's your excuse to finally try it. You will be getting $200.
Green guy with another $3 tip says, I don't have ADHD. I'm I'm an expert forager, keeping an eye out for foods to snack on, and I haven't been eaten by a saber-toothed tiger yet. Yet's the opportune word. Bittergrin says, I'm concerned by non-vegan coffee. What's in there? Meat, apparently.
Worth of coffee and gear for just $99.
Maybe they use something that's an animal product on the beans? I don't know.
That is a steal in a world where your local coffee shop charges $9 for disgusting burnt oat foam. And we all know that coffee prices continue to climb. You get 3 full-size bags of their best coffee, the Bold Dark Roast, Smooth Medium Roast, and their new anti-aging blend. Yes, coffee that actually tastes good and age better. Exclusive.
It's anti-aging coffee?
Of merch. You get a matte black tumbler stamped with unapologetic freedom quotes, and you
it's not for the weak, not for the woke, fuel for the rebellious, brother.
You get a gold spoon that keeps your coffee sealed. You also get a branded frother that does exactly what it's told. All of it is single order.
A frother? What are you, a... I can't... The character in my head used a word that would not be good to use. Bad, Hannah, Alex Jones character. Does anyone remember, like, 20 years ago? I want to point this out. Why 1775 and not 1776? Because these are dork-ass losers that think they're on the verge of a fucking revolution because they don't like pronouns. No, unironically, though, like, do you remember? It's so funny how the goalposts for right-wingers always change, and here it's like, it's right-wing coffee. But, like, it's like, oh, but also here's a frothing fucking spoon. Do you remember, like, even 15, 20 years ago, like, right-wing people who were fighting culture wars would be like, I only drink black coffee. Not any of this espresso frappuccino shit. And now it's like, here's your right-wing coffee. We have a little foaming spoon for you. Don't worry, no pronouns, but don't worry. And then, like, Jeremy's got his where it's like, it's blueberry.
Origin, small batch, mold-free, and toxin-free, and every bag is rated 85 plus on the cupping scale, which puts it...
Green guy with the $1 tip says, non-vegan coffee, they smoke meat at the same time they roast the beans.
among the top specialty coffees in the entire world. If you've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it, I'm gonna tell you what, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/lunchbreak and grab your starter kit before it's gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does.
Stands for taking the money of insecure dipshits whose entire identity is not being like the liberals.
Start your day with coffee.
I'll stop with the Alex Jones voice. I know it's disconcerting.
That not only tastes great, but actually backs what you believe. Go to 1775coffee.com/lunchbreak and grab your starter kit today. I believe we now know why there weren't toilets in the cathedrals. But what about the other buildings? Such as the Windsor Castle, the Tower of London, Edinburgh Castle, monumental places.
Tower of London, that was part of the torture. You just had to hold it in until you gave the king the heir of the correct gender.
And none of them were built with a toilet. Is it possible that the
I didn't think I would end today with an Anne Boleyn constipation joke.
previous civilization, the one that was here before us, was clearly capable of things that would change their entire mindset, their vibration, their lives? What if it was just a very simple and logical explanation?
The only shitting you're allowed to do is shitting out the king's heir. That joke needs work.
What if they just had a much better way of going to the bathroom? What if this...
Oh my god, is he gonna J.K. Rowling this shit? Literally?
Way of using the bathroom is completely degrading. What if it's
Let's do this! Conspiracy about they used to not have to shit. I need this. I need this. Please tell me you believe we didn't have to use to shit. Please tell me you think they, like, apparated the shit out of your bowels. I am begging you, I need this. Crazy man on the internet. Tell me where you think they put the poop.
incredibly primitive? What if we're right and the previous civilization didn't sit down on something that thousands of people have used before them? What if they didn't?
Okay, to be fair, a lot of civilizations don't sit on, like, a seat to use the toilet. They squat, but that's...
Need to flush it through thousands of miles of pipes and hope that someone in a treatment plant can fix it. What if they didn't want to sit down on something that needed cleaning products that have a lot of chemicals?
What if you just didn't accept that reality is a place where you need to shit and then clean up places where you shit? What if you were just uncomfortable with, like, the vague realities of taking care of yourself as a human being? Is there a conspiracy theory for that?
In them. And do you understand what still water is? Still water is the water in the toilet bowl. It is water sitting stagnant. Did you know that still water...
But, like, not for long periods of time. Usually toilets get used at least once a day, which makes the water move and new water comes in. So it's not stagnant just because it is still temporarily. It is also water that comes, like, from the pipes. It's not random water sitting out that's, like, filled with bacteria and stuff. It is clean water coming into the toilet. And as long as you're cleaning your toilet regularly, like, it shouldn't be an awful problem.
Water is dangerous, and it sits in every single one of our...
Does he understand? It's like he's heard before that still water is dangerous, but he's never thought about why. And so he's applying it here where it doesn't make sense. Still water outside is a concern because, mosquitoes and other insects can lay eggs in it. So, like, if you're in an area with a lot of mosquitoes, still water will almost immediately, if it's sitting there for a while, get infested with mosquito eggs, and then you'll have a big mosquito problem. Secondly, if it's, like, outside somewhere, it's going to get infected with all sorts of things and bacteria constantly. So you wouldn't, like, want to drink it, but, like, there's still water out in the world, puddles and stuff. The toilet water in your house isn't what people mean by still water. You're also, I don't know if you know this, don't drink the toilet water. Don't drink the toilet water. Okay. Glad we're on the same page.
Our houses today. Why would an advanced civilization, a very powerful and extremely intelligent civilization...
You can tell it's those things because he likes their buildings.
Why would they have...
Yeah, right? Like, if he thinks, like, this is still water, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is literally a cup full of water that just sits here until I drink it. Like, does he think that's a problem?
Still water in a palace. In a palace that heals you. Still water loses oxygen over time, which kills good microbes and allows for the bad ones to thrive. Still water.
Again, he's getting this. He asked ChatGPT about this.
Becomes a breeding ground for E. coli, mold, and disease.
Yes, if it sits there for weeks, if it sits there for months without moving, especially if it's outside, not water sitting in a clean bowl in your house for hours at a time before it's flushed. He only drinks from cat fountains.
And we all...
Oh God, is this guy my cat?
Use this today. The amount that we are not taught is incredible. But
you know what? He's got a point there.
once we see these facts...
Do you not flush, sir? Oh my God, do you want to hear a disgusting thing about my youth? We lived out in the middle of nowhere. I was an only child. My dad's an abusive alcoholic. All sorts of fucked up shit. So we didn't have a sewer system. We had a septic tank. If you don't know what a septic tank is, in areas where there isn't, like, a sewer system for your waste to go into, it is literally a tank under the ground. where your waste will go. Now, every however many years, depending on the size of your tank, you need to have a truck come and empty it. Because if you don't, it overfills. Now, my dad, as I said, was a fucking alcoholic crazy person, so he just thought it was fine. For years, he didn't have the money, I guess, even though he had plenty of money to drink and get weed and, you know, anything else he wanted. He didn't have money to to have the thing emptied, so our front yard was just literally overflowing with human waste. And in order to mitigate this, his solution was, we just won't flush as often. So literally, he would, like, pee and just not flush it all the time. He was a disgusting person. He is. He's not dead yet. Don't worry, you'll know when he does. We'll have a celebration stream. Anyway, trauma dump ended. Moving on. Green guy with the $3 tip says, I taught recruits after boot camp. Some complained. Others that lived in the real world were like free healthcare, dental, a place to stay, and a place to eat for free. And I'm learning electronics and getting paid $30K a year. This is amazing. Yeah. Some people don't get... Some people don't know what it's like to have to survive.
You will never question why a palace from the old world didn't have a toilet again.
You good after getting that out? That's my secret, Cap. I'm never all right.
100% certain at this point that they didn't put a toilet in their palaces because they weren't capable. It was because they didn't want to. And they knew exactly what happens in Stillwater. Yet this is so normal today. We think it's crazy that the old palaces don't have a toilet. Not anymore. An advanced civilization would never trap filth in water and keep it inside their buildings. They would eliminate the
He's just in denial about how humans are. How weird.
waste instantly. And this gets even more intense and exposes this once and for all. Stillwater becomes a breeding ground for deadly organisms. Within a few hours, it can start growing bacteria that can infect, poison, or even kill. Toilets are disgusting, and this is exactly why they didn't put them in their palaces. Have you heard of Legionnaire's disease?
Makes way more sense to just shit directly onto the street.
I'm gonna tell you what, if you didn't think we were in a little season before this, I'm gonna prove it right now. They put a toilet in every single one of our houses. How many people
Oh, Jesus, that sucks, Trey. I'm sorry.
here have a toilet that's in their house that they haven't flushed in a while? Let's keep going. Legionnaires.
Do they? Also, again, when we're talking about water outside, it's usually stuff that's easily infected because it's outside. Birds can shit in it. Bugs can die in it. Animals get into it. Like, that's why it's easily contaminated. When we're talking about in your house, coming from a fresh water supply into a clean toilet bowl, you could literally drink it. I wouldn't, because, like, you know, how well do you clean your toilet? Hopefully well, but you never know. But, like, the water itself is fine to sit there for hours. If you don't, you might get mold, like in my house in Saginaw, for instance. There's a bathroom in the basement that almost never gets used. So yeah, if you go down there occasionally, you'll, like, open it and there'll be like a ring of mold. Because water, and that's not good. But usually that's not an issue because most people use their toilets regularly. So it's not an issue.
There's disease. Over 73,480 illnesses annually from E. coli contaminating toilet water in the USA alone. So at this point, what do we all do right now to fix this? Because I don't want to freak you all out and ruin your day. What do we do? We're not all getting rid of our toilets right now. So how do we fix this? Step 1, before you flush the toilet, close the lid. Don't flush and let that water that's been sitting...
I mean, yeah, that's a good tip. I assume most people already do that or know that.
...there for a while, fly up into the air. Step 2, even if you don't use your toilet...
It's not about the water that's been sitting there for a while. You close the lid when you flush because it's been contaminated with your shit and piss, and it's gonna spray shit and piss particles everywhere. It's not because of the water that's been sitting there. It's because you just excreted waste into the water. He doesn't even understand why you would do that. Does he think his shit is sterile? Like, does he think his shit is fine?
Toilets. Flush them every single day.
Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, water that enters your house is treated. Water in your house is potable. Yes.
At least once. Do not let them sit there. Step 3. You can take this even further and clean them. Take 1 cup.
Does he know you're supposed to clean your toilets as like a normal human chore? Like, you are not supposed to have to tell people that. Like, that'd be like telling people, did you know you need to do laundry sometimes? Did you know sometimes you need to wash dishes? Did you know sometimes you need to mow your lawn? Like, yeah, I'm 31 years old. Yes, I am aware chores exist. Yes.
Cup of vinegar.
Fucking what? Did this man just learn this adult man just learned you need to clean a toilet, and it blew his fucking mind, and he decided it was a conspiracy?
And a half a cup of baking soda, put it in the toilet, let it fizz and flush it. This kills the bacteria naturally without bleach. Step 4, do not put your toothbrush near the toilet. Ever. And in all honesty, do these things and you're gonna be just fine. These people of the past, these people were incredibly intelligent as a society. There was not just 1 or 2.
I'm gonna put this out there. Most of the members of those societies were more intelligent than you, so you're onto something there, just probably not exactly what you think.
People here and there, they all worked together. They shared knowledge, and they were actually advanced. They were actually incredible. They were healthy, and they were constructing palaces that healed themselves. The previous civilization was incredible. And I believe that it's time that we take steps forward together, and we work together. We were never supposed to live like this. We were never supposed to flush filth into still water.
What does he want people to do with their... He didn't even, he expressed that he doesn't think you should be shitting in a toilet. Where does he think we should be shitting? I think even he was embarrassed to express that he thinks they, like, disappeared their shit from inside their bodies or something. But, like, that's what he implied. He just didn't say it, because I think even he knows that that makes him sound like a crackpot.
Breathe in toilet must and call it progress. This is not evolution. This is regression. And I believe the craziest thing is that the toilets expose this. And once you understand...
Come on, man!
And that, you're gonna realize this isn't just about plumbing. This is about truth. It's about recognizing that in every single palace, every cathedral, every fortress...
The globalists put a toilet in your house so your shit would lower your spiritual vibrations, brother! It went from Alex Jones to Macho Man Randy Savage. Alright.
Built by the previous civilization was designed with something higher in mind. Something clean, something powerful. These weren't monuments of control. They were machines. Machines that healed the body.
Yeah, brother was Hulk. You're right. That is Hulk. If it was Macho Man, he would have been like, woo, woo. Yeah.
Balanced the mind.
Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, that's more Macho Man. I did Hulk Hogan, but with kind of a Macho Man voice.
And aligned with your inner self.
Woo.
They flipped them upside down on us, turned off the power, and sat on them. Literally. The frequency was hijacked. The organs are silenced. The bells on top are gone.
Yeah.
And the truth was buried underneath centuries of lies. But now, we're remembering. Not just what they built, but why they built it. And why the things that are missing.
Yeah, we're gonna do a bingo check after this. I have gone 2 hours and 20 minutes without a bingo check, so I'm doing great.
Were never meant to be there in the first place. Because no matter what anybody tells you, the proof is still standing. The missing toilets, the missing wires, the missing blueprints. But
the missing wires. Why did this building, built pre-electricity, not have walls full of wires? Who knows?
You really step back and you think about it. Nothing is missing at all. They left the truth right in front of us. They left it in stone, in glass, in sound, in color, in vibration, and it's all still here. We just had to ask the right questions. And now that we've asked these questions, we can go further, and we will never unsee it.
Green Guy says, evolve, you first, I am the end of my lineage. True, me too. Take a look at the bingo card. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ancient wisdom. Uses AI. Flat Earth. We had Flat Earth, right? Did I show you guys a Flat Earth video? I thought we did, but maybe I'm thinking of earlier. Let me know. No, not that one. Hannah mentioned, no, because that didn't count. Incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident, that's for sure. Vibes-based conspiracy, believes sci-fi technology exists. Clone, wait, did we have clones yet? I don't think we had clones. Giants. Shilling scamming. Doesn't understand architecture. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. Word salad. This rock, tree, mountain was a human. Transphobia, transvestigation for the pronouns, quote-unquote joke. Oh yeah, you're right. He did mention clones during the RFK thing, or sorry, JFK thing. PSYOP. The Matrix. Parteria. That's not how women work. Illuminati, Freemasons, Cabal. I think that's it. Anything else? Anything? MK Ultra? Oh yeah, where is MK Ultra on here? At least it used to be. It still is, right? Somewhere? There it is. MK Ultra. Does my conversation with a chatbot count for defunct source? No, but I will count that as conspiracy theorist tells on themselves. Honestly, the fact that he not only cited it, but, like, didn't say what it was, that's telling. Oh yeah, and misunderstanding of the scientific method. Thank you. Alrighty, let's see what we're gonna cover next. Well, I'm looking for the next video. Last time I'll do my calls to action. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. I'd really appreciate it. Our upcoming Patreon and YouTube member-only live stream is this upcoming Saturday evening. And finally, if you like the show, consider subscribing, becoming a member, or gifting subs. Always helpful. Let's see what's next.
Cloning, clones, awesome stuff, technology, and what people misunderstand because they don't study. So Clonaid, the corporation, the company, and it's not the only one, but at least it's the one that goes more public.
To be clear, Clonaid is a scam company owned by a cult, the Raelians. If you're familiar with the Raelians, they're the group that has the symbol that's the swastika inside of the Star of David. That cult. So him citing them as if they're a real authority is quite funny, because they are themselves crackpots.
As per their
It's a Mia! Thank you for gifting a sub, much appreciated.
statement way back in the day, some years ago, cloning will enable mankind, our mankind, which we are the experiments.
Yes, JP Black, Joe Biden was used. Oh, wait. Yes, he was on the bingo card.
To reach eternal life, the next step will be to directly clone an adult person without having to go through the growth process, you know, the growth in tubes, and to transfer the memories, the mind, and personality into this person.
They claimed to clone things but never proved it. Correct, because they never did. In my opinion. No, they never did that. Straight up. Objective reality, they didn't clone a single goddamn thing or person.
Just as the Elohim.
And again, this is the Nazi bootlicker? Yes, it is. This is the guy that is a Nazi, and he literally made a pathetic video asking for secret Antarctic Nazis to come save him from oh no, I'm not surrounded by all white people, secret Antarctic Nazis, come save me, I'll lick your boots. Actual pathetic shit. Like, he literally said, like, I'll literally be like a... First of all, really disrespectful to, like, cleaning people, but he was like, I'll be a janitor in your civilization as long as I can be around all white people in a Nazi fucking Antarctic base. So he's a big piece of shit.
The Elohim is the advanced human extraterrestrials, as per the Vibes of Cosmos moon map. Just as the Elohim do using their 25,000 years of advanced scientific knowledge. That's what he stated on Clonade. Then we will wake up after death in a brand new body, just like after a good night's sleep. Just like...
That's not even how anything works. Like, I don't understand this obsession that some people have with the idea of, like, cloning your body to live forever. You wouldn't live forever. You'd be dead. It would just be a copy of you. You might as well just have a kid. You know what I mean? Like, even if they literally somehow copied your memories into that thing, it's not you. That's a different person that happens to share all your memories and looks just like you. But you're dead. You'd be dead. It would be another... There's no continuity of consciousness from your perspective. It might be from their perspective, but you die.
The story of Jesus Christ, right? And I know for the big majority of people this is too much. So this is awesome because...
Go play Soma, that'll help explain it. Ooh, shit. Maybe spoilers for Soma. I haven't even played that game, but I saw a video online of someone else playing it and that fucking ending, and oh shit. That's good. That's good sci-fi.
That we've seen this transfer of memories and personality.
The Prestige. Yeah, that's another good example. The Prestige. Also a good movie. In that David Bowie plays Nikola Tesla. Is fun casting.
The TV series The 100, the two actresses, the blonde one and the brunette, were really hot. But yeah, it was really good.
He always does that. I've mentioned this before. Anytime women are mentioned, he's always like, ah, yes, women, which are hot, because I am a man, and men love sexual intercourse with women. He always has really weird, offhanded comments when other women are mentioned. Like, he feels the need. A woman was mentioned. I need to tell people I am attracted to women and like to sex them. Like, it's comical. Like, it's like if you did this as a character in a show, people would be like, all right, we get the joke already. That's a one-note joke. We get it. But he does it constantly, and he's like a real guy. If I've learned anything from this show is I could never be a comedy writer because real life is funnier than fucking any writing will ever be. What a shame.
Good series, the 100, Canadian made. And it's important because, yeah, you can have... So initially, cloning starts with growing a person from baby mode to adult in a test tube, right, in tubes. But then the most important thing would be to have an adult, to just create an adult clone. But then, of course, it would be useless to have an adult clone that just looks like you. Physically, that would be like a twin. But you have to insert your memories and your personality, so because it's you, right, into that clone. So you die... But then that transfer of memories and personality, imagine, you can...
Okay, so at least he's admitting you die. You don't keep living. Another copy of you does.
Create the... Just like if you were like a computer, right? So in a way you copy in hardware using technology the memory...
I'm gonna be honest, Lisa Lamb, even though I don't always like respond to the things you say, I am continually tickled by when I reveal some insane thing that someone believes and you're like, what? I love seeing this shit through the eyes of someone who hasn't been jaded by years of just insanity. Hey, Van, how's it going?
All your memories and your mind and your personality. Because you can also create a clone only with memories, but it would have a different personality. Therefore, it would be a different human being. But if you want to be a copy of yourself in everything, physical, mentally, memories, and personality, and that's you as eternal life. And then you continue, right? That's awesome. This was explored a lot in the TV series The 100 and in many Hollywood movies as well. And of course, now it makes all sense what we read in the Bible, in the biblical texts, which are not all of them, because the Vatican is hiding approximately several hundreds of them. Yeah, that's awesome. So the cloning, I don't even know why. I lost lots of subscribers. Initially, I lost subscribers because I was speaking about the reality of the real world of President Trump and the Patriots. And now I lost even more subscribers because I speak about cloning and clones. Awesome. I like it. I love it when I lose subscribers, because people do not accept the reality of the real world. See you next time.
He seems super thrilled about it. Speaking of which, here's the video he was talking about that I guess made people not want to subscribe to his channel. Green guy with a $1 tip says, had a good use of the AI idea, a small automatic aiming salt shooting gun to put on your outside porch table that shoots flies out of the sky but can ID bees and good bugs to avoid shooting only bad flyers. Shoot them. Sure. Be expensive, but sure.
Was Jesus Christ resurrected using an advanced cloning technique performed by the Elohim, who is the advanced human extraterrestrial race? This is what the Iranian movie...
Never title your article something that can be answered with a yes or no.
Movement says on the website Clonaid. Again, clones and human cloning. So all this is put into what people call the biblical texts, even though the biblical texts are many more than the ones that we are allowed to know about in the traditional Bible. And people, when they read the Bible, they don't even understand that they're reading advanced science, cloning, technology, electromagnetic vehicles, like UFOs in this case, and especially cloning. So even the Elohim, the word Elohim was translated, mistranslated intentionally, because Elohim does not mean God, nor is it a name for God. No, not even the word God doesn't exist in the Bible. And those of you who studied theology professionally and academically, you know all this. Of course you do.
I'm not for sure what version of the Bible he's reading. He reads apocryphal texts too, and very much considers them canon.
Because you've studied it. So
maybe the Book of Enoch.
Again, speaking about cloning, and since the Elohim are the advanced human extraterrestrial race. Extraterrestrials meaning extra terra, so extra lands, extra continents. And because we all know that...
That's not what that means. Extraterrestrials... Oh, incorrect word origin is evidence. Extraterrestrial is referring to, like, space aliens, and he knows that, but he's a flat earther and wants to pretend space doesn't exist. So even in his idea of aliens, he needs to claim they don't come from space, because he doesn't think space is real. Space is fake on the bingo card.
Clones and cloning, and we are clones because not we.
By the way, I forget how little people in the real world know about this shit. Because, like, I had to explain to a coworker who knows what I do for this job. This is my main job, but I have a part-time job for extra money. And literally, when she was asking about some of the conspiracies, I had to explain they don't think space exists. Like, flat earthers don't usually think space exists. And apparently that's a very confusing concept to a lot of people. Like, what do you mean they don't think space exists? They don't think space exists. They think the entire... everything that exists is either Earth or heaven or hell. That's it. They think it works like D&D, planes of existence. There's no physical object you could zoom out on to see. It's just infinite land, and that's all it is. Green guy with a $1 tip says, is he saying Trump is Jesus reborn? The same Jesus who said rich people don't get into heaven? Oh, I hadn't even realized, is that what he was saying? That's such an alien concept to compare Trump to Jesus that's funny if that's what he's doing.
Because we, as in we, of course.
Where do they think meteors come from? I don't know if I've gotten a specific answer from some of them. Some of them might think it's like part of the dome. Chris gives me the vibe that he thinks the military shoots them off and has them land to trick people. Some just don't think they're real. I don't know.
You and I, we were born because our dad and mom, they had sex and mom got pregnant. But we're speaking about the people in the 1800s, all those children and kids, the cabbage, the orphans, people who don't remember their childhood because they didn't have any childhood. So considering clonings and the cloning technique, was Jesus Christ resurrected using an advanced cloning technique performed by the Elohim? That's the reason why if you're an advanced...
Amber says, actually, D&D does have space travel. It's called spell jamming. Canonically depends on the setting, obviously. That's true. They did just release that fucking add-on a couple years ago. I know it existed before then, but I wasn't thinking about it. There are certain fictional fantasy realms that do not have space. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't know specific ones off the top of my head. There's certainly ones that I know have a very different conception of space, like the Elder Scrolls universe has Aetherius, but like it's a little different than what we consider space. They just don't think space exists.
Person from this advanced human extraterrestrial race.
Why would someone make that up? Because they think they're trying to pretend that space exists. They think they make up meteors to convince you space exists.
You're not afraid of death.
Oh, you mean like space in general? Flat earthers, often religious flat earthers, believe that they lie about the shape of the earth and that space exists in order to convince people that God isn't real. Which is weird, because, like, most people in the world are religious, not necessarily of a religion that's deistic, although the top religions are. Christianity and Islam are deistic religions. So if the purpose of, you know, space was to trick people into thinking there was no God, shit trick? I don't know.
Because you know you can be resurrected.
Like Narnia and stuff like that? If space doesn't exist in Narnia, then yes.
As a clone, in a cloned body, and you just transfer your consciousness using technologies, just like in that TV series, The 100.
Meteors are god turds. I believe it. It's a little bit like the Joe Dirt thing. God is like an airplane, right?
And that's how you transfer consciousness, using technology, advanced technology. So you have a new body which is identical to your old body or not, because you can also have a new body, and you transfer your mind and your thoughts and your...
Can I get one with better boobs and no penis, please?
Memories and everything, because that's how it works. So it's fascinating when all this is written about, and it's just...
Is it wrong that you like to use ideas like this for fiction? No, of course not. I've had other people tell me they listen to this stream to get D&D ideas, which I think is hilarious. If you can take the ravings of crazy people and channel them into something creative, I think that's a beautiful and very human thing.
People, people don't, I mean, I understand, because when I was young...
As a kid, Joe Dirt made you think David Spade and Kid Rock were the same person? Poor David Spade. He doesn't deserve that.
I was ignorant and I couldn't understand the thing I was reading, and never, much less imagine and think about all this stuff I'm saying in the video. But as you grow older and you understand that everything is science and technology and cloning and clones, and there's an advanced extraterrestrial human race beyond the Antarctic Treaty, everything makes sense. And everything makes sense now with Jesus Christ. Also with the fact that Mary got pregnant being a virgin. Hey, you just insert into Mary's uterus the already made baby, right? In vitro, as they call it. So of course you're a virgin.
I'm gonna be honest, it annoys me a little bit when religious people try and scientifically explain their religion. Like, you picked a side, man. Just go with the woo-woo of it all. Like, I don't know. Like when George Lucas tried to do the midichlorians thing. Let it be. You're doing magic. Just do magic. Stop trying to explain it. It's not your purview. Very white Jesus here? Yeah, this guy's a Nazi. This is the Nazi guy. He's literally a neo-Nazi.
Because you can get pregnant as being a virgin using science. You don't have to have sex. So that's so easy to understand. Of course, I understand that. I get it, that for the big majority of people, this is called cognitive dissonance, and it's too much, and people react with hate and with sorrow and with anger. But I just care about the reality of the real world and the advance.
He cares about the reality of the real world.
Human extraterrestrial race beyond the Antarctic Treaty in a straight line. Hey, the moon map, vibes of cosmos. See you in the next video. Oh yes, and don't forget, human cloning. Even though you don't like it, it's the reality of the real world forever and ever.
No takesy backsies, guys. He said it, so it's true. This is kind of a funny one. Apparently, this guy thinks they faked Alcatraz prison escape.
A few weeks now since Donald Trump has announced plans to reopen Alcatraz Island as a federal prison. Once again, it's been closed since 1963. And here are the headlines from a few weeks ago and just from 2 days ago. U.S. officials visit Alcatraz amid Trump's plan to reopen the island prison.
It would take more than 4 years. I don't know if anyone knows anything about Alcatraz. Even when it was the last few years of being open, it wasn't suitable for humans to be in. It certainly isn't now. If they wanted to do that, they would literally have to, like, destroy the entire structure and rebuild it from scratch, basically. And even if he moved forward on that, it would take more than 4 years. So, this is just a stupid waste of time and money. It's a Trump thing, of course it is. You don't need me to tell you that, but I needed to say it.
And as many know that have followed my channel over the years, it's been well over a decade since I...
Wasn't Alcatraz shut down because it was too costly? Literally, I think Trump saw the movie Escape from Alcatraz like the night before he made this decision. And I'm not saying that as like a ha-ha, Trump is so stupid joke. I don't need to make a joke. I literally think he watched the movie Escape from Alcatraz and went, why are we doing that? I love Alcatraz, even though the movie's about how someone escaped from it. Still, he's a dipshit. So, like, unironically, I think he saw the movie Escape from Alcatraz, and he was like, let's do something with that.
Cover this topic of the supposed escape of Frank Morris and the England brothers. Called this out as a fabrication, of course, being a real prison, of course, serving as a military base during the Civil War. They actually had Southern prisoners held at Alcatraz Island, and later on, the government wanted to convert Alcatraz Island from a military prison to a federal prison. And as you can see, the date, October 1933, of course, October, the only month of the year that is 33 numerology, and of course...
Numerology on the bingo card?
1933, the 33 at the end, you get your dual 33s when it comes to Freemasonry.
Nothing is allowed to happen in the year 1933 because it'll make conspiracy theorists uncomfortable.
Back on topic with Frank Morris and the England brothers. Once again, of course, a real prison, but to close out the prison, they want to go out with a bang by making up a story with their fabricated history they have created. This was to be part of it.
I don't even understand what would be the motive here. Why? Why would you fake an escape from a prison?
Just take a look here. Inside of Alcatraz itself, of course, a maximum security prison. And as many know, as the story goes, they supposedly used a broken vacuum cleaner, took out the motor, and used it to drill a hole around the vents so they can make their way out and create a workshop above their prison cells. There's absolutely no way. There are no electrical outlets anywhere to be found. And if they actually used the motor, how loud would it be? And obviously the prison guards would hear the drilling taking place. Now let's take a look here at the items that were allowed in Alcatraz. Let's get a little bit of a close-up, get a better view. All the allowed items per prison cell in Alcatraz. Nowhere inside does it talk about an electrical outlet. The only thing you might see is radio headphones, and these are not electrical, and they are closer to the entrance of the cell themselves. And these are simple RCA jacks. You're not going to power up a drill using an RCA jack, so there's absolutely no way.
I don't know enough about electricity to know that. Is anyone an electrician? Could you do that? Could you somehow wire up a headphone jack in order to pull electricity from it? Probably not very much, even if you could do a little bit, but genuinely just kind of curious about that.
This is possible. Now, Now let's take a listen to CBS News. And
I'm not even saying that's necessarily what they did. I don't know. I don't know much about the Alcatraz escape.
This interview with this one individual working in Alcatraz Island talking about the escape.
This past summer, I got an exclusive tour of some never-before-seen parts of Alcatraz. After months of meticulous planning, on the night of June 11, 1962, the trio of bank robbers squeezed through the vents in the back of their cells.
They literally drill small holes around the existing vent and then push.
You could, but it would be dangerous. I don't think they were that worried about the danger.
That concrete in.
He assumes that they didn't use part of the motor to make a hand drill. That's actually true. I think a lot of people in conspiracy theories forget that people used hand tools and stuff long before electricity existed. Bittergrin says, I'm a theatrical electrician, but no motor from then would be able to run on that little current. I know what you mean by theatrical electrician, but it kind of makes me go like, it's a seed!
So you see, without a shadow of a doubt, supposedly using this vacuum motor, convert it into a drill. Again, there's absolutely no way with all the evidence I provided. Now let's take a look here. Another aspect.
You didn't provide any. Why do these people think evidence is?
From the CBS News interview at Alcatraz, and take a listen to this nonsense. More and more you look, the more and more you see, the more and more you realize this is nothing more than a fabrication. Nothing about this makes sense. Take a listen.
Inflated their raft and paddled away, never to be seen again.
The inmates used 50 raincoats to make that raft.
So they used 50 raincoats to make this raft that's all folded up.
Yeah, the Mythbusters actually did this. They did a whole episode trying to recreate a lot of the specifics of the Alcatraz escape. So they did actually make this raft, and it did work. They were shocked that it worked, but yeah, you can do that.
50 raincoats. How do you smuggle 50 raincoats past guards in a maximum security?
They didn't do it all at once. They were probably working the laundry or something and would take one or two at a time and then put it in the workshop where they were working that was hidden.
Prison. There's absolutely no way this is possible. And besides the motor itself, like I showed earlier, you have this raft that's made out of 50 raincoats. 50 raincoats. Think about that. And not only that, you had the life jackets. You can see this is very well made. No way these guys had the ability to make something of this sort above the prison cell. And also, not only that, you had these paddles supposedly made on this makeshift workshop. And here's another supposedly left behind after the so-called escape. All this is nonsense. And again, I have to really emphasize...
Wait, why is that nonsense? Does he think prisoners wouldn't have access to these things? Even if you were basing your view of prison off, like, movies and stuff, fucking Shawshank app is a movie. Just putting it out there. They had access to wood. Again, that's a movie, but yeah. Prisoners do have access to things, especially when they have jobs that they're doing in the prison. They need tools and materials to do whatever thing they're assigned.
Size in the amount of items they supposedly smuggled into the cells. Again, the vacuum motor, 50 raincoats, not 15, 50. How do you smuggle 50 raincoats into a prison cell?
Again, they didn't do it all at once. They were literally in there for a long period of time. They're in jail. They're in prison, rather. What do you think they're doing all day? They literally have nothing better to do than figure out how to escape.
I can understand very small objects.
Bittergrin with 100 bits says, looks like the cells had electric lights, and as Juvie Shara 2 pointed out, they could have tapped that for power easy enough.
But how do you smuggle in all these items of this size? How do you get a motor of this size past a security guard in a maximum security prison? 50 raincoats once again.
They could have paid him off. Like, I know that sounds a little weird, but like, if they did need to make sure a guard was looking the other direction, I'm sure they could have figured something out.
This is really unbelievable. All these items.
I think a lot of conspiracies come down to people assume much more competency out of people than is actually there. a lot of security is security theater. They don't have to catch everyone all of the time. They just need to catch enough people with contraband that it discourages others from doing it. MH Darkbeast says, this is wild. I'm having 80s flashbacks from the voice to the slime.
Man movie. Watch out! A giant kaiju monster is destroying the city!
Holy shit, did a Superman thing just use the word kaiju?
This looks like a job for Superman. He flies in with a powerful punch. Ew! Slime explosion!
I'm happy that we live in a world where apparently children know what the word kaiju means and they put it in their ads. History Chick 96, thanks for 49 months at tier 2. Thank you very, very much. Almost starting a hype train.
Oh, the kaiju is reloading for a bigger battle. Call in the Justice Gang. Get him, Green Lantern.
Wow. A Guy Gardner action figure for children. Future's a weird fucking place, man.
Mr. Terrific teams up. Hawk Girl soars in to help Superman save the day. Boom!
What happened to the Justice League? This is like a reboot thing they're doing, so I assume that they don't want to do the Justice League yet, but Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific probably have their own team that's like a precursor to the Justice League or something.
Slime time! Superman vs. Kaiju Battle Pack. Other figures each sold separately.
What a weird world. I hope that movie's good. If for no other reason than I want Snyder Bros to cry a lot.
If you can get all these items past these security guards, you can smuggle in a bus or a boat into one of these prison cells. Give me a break. Now with the occultic aspect, with the Freemasons behind it all, when it comes to Alcatraz and this complete fabrication of a prison escape, let's get right to it with the occultic side of things.
It was a legendary escape from a place that was supposed to be inescapable. 55 years ago this month, 3 men pulled off the impossible, breaking out of Alcatraz.
Only on 5 tonight, Betty Yu takes us to some rare locations on the rock to show us how they got out.
There's something about this old prison that brings nearly 4,000.
And there you see the magic number, the Masonic number 33. And this is where the boats take off for the tours of Alcatraz. Pier 33, out of all the piers that you see here in the San Francisco Bay. And here you see Fort Mason. And actually, just take a look here.
Is it bad that at this point I'm just rooting for things to randomly line up where 33 appears because it's funny for me when it happens? That bad? Probably not great.
This is the mailing address for
Pier 33 is a huge tourist location in San Francisco. Exactly! That's what they want! Minute left to start a hype train.
Alcatraz Island. As you see here, Golden Gate National Recreation Area at Fort Mason, 201. And again, they always code what they create. And make no mistake about it. Again, the 33. And again, I have to really emphasize that of all the piers, they select Pier 33 as part of the boat tour to see Alcatraz. Now let's take a look here at Pier 33. And what do you see here? The very Masonic arch.
Only Masons have arches. It's not one of the most common architectural features in human history. It's a secret sign.
100%. Make no mistake about it. Take a look here. In comparison, this depiction with the Masons and their arch and the number 33 right above, just like you see here, with obviously Pier 33. Now, side by side, obviously a Masonic creation.
Look, you can tell because of the way it is. They're both arches, and all arches are the same thing. This is the stupidest syncretism. We're doing fucking shape syncretism now? What are we doing?
The architects of this world and their fabricated history and their signs and symbols in plain sight. And here you see the Alcatraz landing right here. I found this extremely interesting, where you see this one cab and just take a little bit of a close-up and look at the phone number parked right in front of Pier 33.
Give it up for Random Chance! Yeah! Oh, sometimes reality's fun.
The phone number 333-3333. Give me a break. 100%. And as part of the tour of the San Francisco Bay, take a look here at the blue and gold fleet with Alcatraz in the back. This is a completely different tour. This is a tour of the actual bay, going under the Golden Gate Bridge, seeing other landmarks of San Francisco from the bay itself, but it passes by.
I don't need to go on a tour of San Francisco. Why would I waste my time? I've seen the intro to Full House like 50 million times.
And circles Alcatraz as part of the tour. So again, blue and gold, always coded. When it comes to the Masons, again, they're all about signs, symbols, dates, numbers, and colors. And here is a...
You know, everything we use to signify. I like that he just listed every way we symbolically code things as human beings.
Prime example, as you see here with the Masonic ring, with the blue and gold colors. Obviously by design. Just take a look here with Pythagorean numerology, blue and gold is 33, and with Chaldean, blue and gold is 33 as well. Your dual.
Oh wow, you had to use completely different systems to get these results. It's almost like there's a bunch of different systems and you plug things into all sorts of different systems until you get ones that you think are significant, but you ignore all the ones that aren't significant. It's almost like you're looking to manufacture evidence for the thing you already believe. You're crazy. You are a crackpot. Get therapy. Get lithium. Get help.
33 is in plain sight, just as I've shown many times with Freemason, Grand Sovereign Commander Luther Smith.
Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, companies in the past would pay good money to get an easy-to-remember phone number because no cell phones. Duh. Yeah.
And the dual 33s, it all comes down to this quote from Manly
Numerology is on the bingo card, yes.
P. Hall. When the human race learns to...
Oh my god, they always fucking quote this Manly P. Hall guy. What if I think he's a crackpot? Have you considered that, crackpots? What if you're citing another crackpot?
The language of symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of men. And very interesting how this was all mapped out.
Qualitative analysis of sources, what's that?
With this complete fabrication of a prison escape. You have Alcatraz Warden Blackwell, who they say was on vacation during the escape. And you had Associate Warden Dollison, who was the acting warden, as you can see here, from the 1979 movie Escape from Alcatraz, played by Patrick McGowan.
Before anyone asks, yes, on 4K.
And here is the actual daughter.
I know no one was going to ask. It's just my brain.
Of Warden Dollison. And she wrote a book. She wrote a few books on Alcatraz. And before even showing the books, take a look here at the surname Dollison in numerology. Again, the acting role.
Can we get a stream going over frequently cited people, the Manly P. Hall guy in Saint Germain? I do want to definitely do a Saint Germain stream. That might be good, because I don't know if I'll get enough content just for Saint Germain, so that's actually a good idea to combine it with some other stuff like Manly P. Hall and some of the other people they cite. Good idea.
Warden. Just so happens to be 33 in numerology. Getting back to the daughter of Dollison.
You get respect points, German cow, for the prisoner reference.
Just take a look here. This is from her official website, Jolene Babiak.
Why does he care about numerology? Because he's a conspiracy theorist, and conspiracy theorist thinks that there are hidden codes everywhere, and if they can just unlock these codes, then they will find evidence to the nature of reality that is hidden from everyone else. It's paranoid behavior, basically. They think there's secret clues laying everywhere. There's not. That's not how reality works. Even in the real world, where there are often bad people, fun fact, they don't work like the Riddler. They don't have a compulsion to leave you clues. That's not how things work. But conspiracy theorists think there are, because often they have mental illness or personality disorders that cause them, frankly, to believe a lot of things that aren't true.
And take a look. Obviously, this is Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. This is Al Capone. The one-eye symbolism, obviously.
Speaking of which, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow, chat. I do have to end soon, because I have to go to bed in about an hour, and then I have a 10-hour shift tomorrow, and I gotta get up at 6 a.m. for it, and then I gotta stream 3 hours tomorrow, if I can. I'm looking at like 13 hours of work tomorrow, which isn't gonna be awesome.
With the Birdman of Alcatraz, Robert Stroud. Take a look at the book cover, the same. The one-eye symbolism. All these people, part of this fabricated story in our history. They're showing their signs and symbols. Once again, take a look here. Al Capone and the one-eye symbol once again. And just take a look at the name Al.
I'd argue that doesn't even count. You can still see both eyes.
Capone, of course, a major player on the world stage, just so happens to be 33 numerology. So for all those that doubt the Masonic connections, the occult, just take a look here at this Freemason magazine.
It's not a bad comparison, Sea Snake. Often the same sort of paranoid seeking behaviors that you can find in certain kinds of schizophrenia are present within conspiracy theorists. Again, that's not to say all conspiracy theorists are schizophrenic or have a clinical mental illness. It's just that some of the behaviors are similar.
Make no mistake about it.
Though, unfortunately, yes, many conspiracy theorists, especially those that are very deep into it in an all-consuming way, do suffer from some sort of delusional or paranoid disorder.
They highly prize Alcatraz as the rock. And we know biblically the rock is God. Just take a look at these Bible.
A lot of the rock, or the idea of a large stone or rock being a metaphorical touchstone, exists for many things. Not just Alcatraz, not just the Christian God. Many, many things throughout history and mythology have been symbolically linked to the idea of a large stone, a rock, a boulder. Again, this idea that they don't understand that, like, the way that human symbols work is that the symbol and that which it symbolizes are separate. They're connected through the connections we make as societies and individuals, but they're not concrete connections that exist outside of our perceptions. So yes, the Christian God has been sort of metaphorically referred to as, like, a rock, the rock. But so can Alcatraz, and so can a variety of other things, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and none of these things are mutually exclusive. They're all referencing a singular point that is then being used as a metaphor for distinctly separate ideas. That's what we do. We draw comparisons. Those comparisons aren't literal concrete connections. It's things your brain is doing.
Verses from Isaiah 26:4. Trust in the Lord forever, because God, the Lord, is the rock. And take a look here from Deuteronomy 32:4. He is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment, a God of truth, and without inequity, just and right is he. So again, make no mistake about it, the rock and the symbolism in this is flat out mockery. Make no mistake about it, by those behind the scenes pulling the string. And another aspect of Alcatraz, several years after Alcatraz closed down as a federal prison, no doubt this was a psyop with the American Indian tribes
PSYOP on the bingo card.
gathering on the island, taking it over basically. There's no way they can do this unless it was allowed. And you have Indian
Are you stupid?
land. This is coded part of the world stage as well, with Indian land basically being 33 land. And obviously the eagle in plain sight. Here's the dual-headed eagle.
Once again, a variety of different cultures, different civilizations, governments, and cultural groups have all used eagles or similar birds symbolically. That doesn't mean they are all linked.
Or the dual-headed phoenix, as some refer to. And also take a look here. This is 100% staged. Just a production, like I said. Here you see the San Francisco police and this Indian tribe leader speaking. And
Also, that's not the preferred nomenclature, dude.
again, this is just a photo op, part of this world stage event from 1969 to 1971, when this all went down. Just take a look here as well with this TP on Alcatraz. And interestingly enough, you have the Golden Gate Bridge in the back. Of course, painted orange. Orange is 33. And
I guess I've always considered that more like a red. Like, I guess I'm not saying it's not orange, but in my head, I don't think of it as orange. I think of it as kind of an off red, almost like a tangerine red or something, with a little bit of like, yeah, like rusty red. That's a good way to maybe put it. No. I don't think that's orange. I wouldn't call that orange. Like, it's not solid red. It's not the platonic ideal of red, but like, it's more red than orange to me, but I could see maybe how different people could see that as orange, especially depending on the lighting, so I'm not going to nitpick it. Not that big of a deal. What's that dang video? I had so much stuff today I didn't get into.
and it was constructed in 1933. The same year, the government took over Alcatraz.
Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, one belief is that the first pope was the rock the church was built on. The opposite group believe it is a real rock.
As a federal prison. Another interesting aspect here when it comes
Plymouth Rock.
to the so-called Indian.
The Blarney Stone.
In takeover.
That's a rock. The Rock of Gibraltar.
Is you had all this graffiti all over the place. And obviously, this is recent history as the tourists all around, as you see here, the bookstore. But all the graffiti, after they repainted here, they retouched up all the Indian graffiti. Here's an article discussing it from back in 2012, specifically with
Fraggle Rock, down in Fraggle Rock.
This water tower. When they repainted the water tower itself, all the graffiti was touched up because this is part of their created history with the Indian tribes, again, gathering on Alcatraz. They're not going to paint over it. Again, it's part of their history that they want to preserve, and this was meant to happen.
The Stone of Scone, essential to the Scottish crown. There's an actual thing called the Stone of Scone. I think that's another thing where if you wrote that in like a kid's fantasy novel, you'd roll your eyes and go, the Stone of Scone? Take a second whack at that. Just reminds me how in fantasy worlds people spend all sorts of time thinking about like, oh, how do I name this river? What's the historical, cultural, significant thing that this river is named after? And then you look at a bunch of rivers, and half of them are, like, named the River River, or, like, the Water River. or just the river. Lenin Cat says, the rock you build the temple on is a pun. Peter is the rock, and his name is in Greek is Petros, or stone.
There's another vantage point of the water tower itself on Alcatraz. So from start to finish,
There's a Highlander episode about it. Oh shit, someone else knows the Highlander series existed. Cool. Highlander the animated series is coming out on Blu-ray soon. If anyone's a real Highlander fan, you're a Highlander completionist. The animated show's coming out.
Everything we've seen take place with Alcatraz after the fact, after the closure, is World Stage Theater. And that gets into the movies. There's been many movies based on Alcatraz. And of course, Hollywood is owned and controlled by the Freemasons. And the very first movie based on Alcatraz is The Birdman of Alcatraz. And it was released in theaters just 1 month after the supposed escape. What an amazing coincidence. Just the timing of it all. Just 1 month after the supposed escape. Filming started in 1960. Again, released just 1 month after the supposed escape. And
I just want to point out that I was wearing these sunglasses on my forehead so long that I got those marks that you normally get like on the bridge of your nose on my forehead. And it's not a good look. Not a good look when you wipe off your makeup just right.
that gets into the next movie, as we see with Clint Eastwood. Of course, Hollywood, Eastwood. It's all about...
Yeah, I'm sure that's why that's how that is.
Pagan tree worship with the wood in the name. And more movies. The very next year, 1980 TV movie, Alcatraz, the whole shocking story, which you have here with all these individuals, big names out of Hollywood, all Freemasons, make no mistake about it. And in 2012...
I like that he just says it with no source. He's just like, they're all Masons, trust me. Trust me, bro.
This TV series, of course, titled Alcatraz on Fox. There was also the 1996 movie
The Rock,
based on Alcatraz, titled The Rock. I actually seen this movie at the Burlingame Drive-In right next to the San Francisco Bay, about 15 miles from Alcatraz itself. And obviously the one-eye symbolism displayed once again. And you had another movie that was released in 2018, inspired by the so-called true events of Alcatraz. With this video presentation, it should be crystal clear. Obviously, the Alcatraz escape is nothing but a psyop, nothing but a hoax. They obviously just didn't want to close it without some type of hype, some type of attention. And the perfect story was this prison escape, which obviously creates a lot of interest. You have nearly 1.6 million visitors a year to Alcatraz. And they bring in nearly $60 million a year on tourist money alone. And that gets back to Donald Trump. During this press conference, he's asked about the reopening of Alcatraz. And there's a lot of hints in plain sight, with Alcatraz being nothing.
People trying to decode Donald Trump is the funniest thing to me. Because he's like legitimately just like a dumb guy that's like all id. So he's just constantly doing whatever his brain is telling him feels good. And everyone tries to like, what's his 4D chess, or what's his secret thing, or what's his secret evil plan? What's he trying to distract us from now? Like, no, he's just like an idiot. There's not a deeper meaning. It's fine to look at the people around him, like Peter Thiel, and be like, what's their motive? But Trump is like just a narcissistic rage monster that loves himself and everything his brain feeds him. That's it. It's not deeper than that. Rainy, thanks for a 3-stream streak, says, yay, this sometimes happens. It does indeed.
More than a story, he mentions Hollywood movies.
Jay's a proxy with a 215 stream streak, says sometimes the chair is just a chair. 785 to go.
He mentions duality as the good and the bad of Alcatraz. And in conclusion, I'm going to play this clip, and it speaks for itself. For anybody that's wide awake, it's clear what Donald Trump is saying here. Take a listen.
To reopen Alcatraz, how will you use it? How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I guess I
was supposed to be a movie maker. We started with the movie making and we'll end. I mean, it represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. But
most powerful man on the earth, everyone! He could kill us all in an instant. Don't you love that shit? You know, like the movies. Sing Sing, Alcatraz, Rikers Island. I've seen the movies. Great movies, big, beautiful movies.
it's right now a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. But it sort of represents something that's both horrible and beautiful and strong and miserable, weak.
It's beautiful. The mistreatment of prisoners. The most beautiful mistreatment of prisoners you've ever seen. That's Demon. Thanks for gifting a sub. An Imperfect Rebus with 49 bits says, when will he turn New York into a prison and maybe crash into it?
It's got a lot of... It's got a lot of qualities.
Just we can just we don't need Snake Plissken on this one. Let him have a day off. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
That are interesting.
All right. Time for me to call it a day. So thank you everyone for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I have to work 10-hour shift tomorrow and I get up very early. I'm going to try. Frankly, I cannot afford to not stream tomorrow. But I am a human being, and I do not know if after 10 hours of work I can then come on here and be entertaining for 3 hours. But I will do my best. But if I can't, I genuinely, sincerely apologize. But I need to stream. I can't afford not to stream. But like, you know, endless labor. Very fun. Alright, let's see who we're gonna raid. Here, enjoy Star Trek Voyager with VC Archives. Alright, have a great night, everyone. I'll see you hopefully tomorrow, unless I'm miserable and genuinely feel like I'm gonna die. Metaphorically. Metaphorically. Alright, bye everyone, have a great night. I'll see you soon. Love you, Mr. Blast. I need to go make dinner and go to bed. Bye!